for the IFAD Agri-Business Project, covering all southwestern state operations with our main sites in Awe. I welcome you all here with great pleasure and honor. It has been a long journey. We actually started this journey, I think, specifically from February 7, 2021. So it's around 6 months now. And at this point in time, I would love to welcome all our invited guests who have taken their time out to grace this occasion, many of which traveled far and wide to register their presence and to also support the event and the project at large. In no particular order, I would like to welcome the IITAT management team first, starting with Dr. Alfred Dixon, who is the Director of Development and Delivery. You are welcome, sir. Also, joining him at the corner here, we have Dr. Chris Santos Akem, who is the coordinator TAT program. By extension, he is also the lead for P4D at Awe, so he is our backbone, so kindly appreciate him. I believe before we finish the program, Dr. Adebowale Akonde will join us, and we are going to welcome him accordingly. At this point in time, I would also like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Ojutalayo Olufunke, who is the Director of RCDC, Awe. You are welcome, ma, and thank you for the support. I would also love to recognize the presence of Mr. Adeyanju Moshood, who is like our assistant at Awe. You are welcome. Again, I would love to move to our partners who have been working with us since the inception of this program. To start with, I would like to introduce Mr. Alex Agbandigba from Songhai Institute. You are welcome. Also with us here, we have Mr. Maruf Yakub. He will join us, I guess. It's around, and when he comes around, we are going to also welcome him accordingly. Here with us, we have our partners, aside the major project partners, those who are various actors working to support the project in one form or the other. To start with, I would love to recognize the presence of Mrs. Bishi Olufumilayo, the Managing Director, Agri-Capital Ventures Limited, Ibadan. Also, we also have our new partner from Nigeria Climate Innovation Center, in person of Mr. Adamu Garuba, who is also going to play a role of a panelist today in some of our discussion area. You are welcome, sir. Again, I cannot leave this podium without recognizing the presence of Engineer Martins Akredolu. You are welcome, sir. Sometimes, when you are passing by, you will be dodging. because he believes every time we are meeting him, we are coming with a new challenge and trouble. Thank you very much for always receiving us. Again, we also have the team from Agribusiness Global Ventures. I'm not sure they are here now, but when they comes around, I will also register their presence. I also like to welcome and introduce Mr. Awobajo Kayode from the PDAU unit, Ed PDA unit. I think even whatsoever we do, they are the one in charge of our technical reports and all other documentation that we need to submit to the donor. So thank you for always supporting us. Again, I also love to recognize the MIE team who are here present here today, especially Mrs. Babalola Elizabeth, who is our MIE focal person for this project. You are welcome. Also, I would like to also introduce the new youth group who have been working relentless to also ensure they provide us necessary support. Which name goes by Youth in Sustainable Eco-Recycling Program, YSWEP. I welcome you all. Like I said, we have a lot of guests on our list, and I would love to also welcome the team from Agri-Capital, who also comes with their team lead. You are welcome. The main program of today is subject around our project beneficiaries who have been with us since since February 7th when we roll out the application. It has been a long journey, and I'm glad that you who are sitting here are the champions, because we have to actually select just 70 out of 12,000 applications we received for the Oyo Hub. So kindly appreciate yourself. I cannot also leave this podium without recognizing the presence of the STEP team, led by Mr. Adefioye Adedayo. I also love to welcome all the Youth in Agribusiness staff who are here present and those who are working at the background to ensure the project is successful. Without so much ado, I would love to welcome Miss Adunye Oluyemi, who is the moderator for today's program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Wahid. Before I go into the activities for today, I would like to thank you all for putting on your face masks, but I also want to implore you to keep putting on your face masks. As we all know, the COVID virus is still here with us, and we must do our best to protect ourselves and ensure that it's not spread through us. Thank you. So right about now, we'd like to welcome you all specially from the P4D Directorate. This project is just one of the projects under the Youth in Agribusiness Office, and the Youth in Agribusiness Office sits directly under IITA's Partnership for Delivery Directorate. I would like us to give a resounding ovation as I welcome Dr. Alfred Dixon to give the welcome address on behalf of P4D.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Deputy Director General, Partnership for Delivery, Dr. Kentin Dashil, who is unavoidably absent, to welcome you all to IIT Ibadan and to wish you a happy stay at IITA. Please permit me to give some background on the significance of the launching of this Oyo Hub training for the first cohort trainees of the IFAD-funded project, support to integrated agribusiness hubs in Nigeria for creating rural youth employment opportunities. The ever-increasing difficulty of an effective transition for the youth into the economic mainstream across Africa presents an alarming issue with strongly negative social, psychological, environmental, and political repercussions in both rural and urban areas. The Agribusiness Hub Project is directed towards realizing IFAD's vision of empowering African youth through the establishment of a network of youth-centered agribusiness hubs across Africa. IIT and the Shanghai Center responded to IFAD's call in the development and piloting of a youth agribusiness hub in Nigeria to address two main objectives of employment and entrepreneurship. The Oyo Hub in Oyo State, led by IIT, is one of the principal hubs in Nigeria. Others are located in Imo State, led by the Shanghai Center, and the other in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, managed by the Africa Projects Development Center, Apdc. The Oyo Hub is located at the IIT Oyo State Youth Agribusiness Incubation Park Center in Awe, a partnership between IIT, the Oyo State Ministry of Agriculture, and the Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency, or SIDA. Each hub is expected to provide several services, and these include capacity development, training and mentoring, technology testing, demonstrations, and certification facilities, technology transfer, international networking and collaboration, and policy advocacy and market intelligence, as well as links to investors and other financial sources. This training incubation launch today is a 3-month program that covers technical and vocational training, experiential learning, soft skills, and business management modules. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of IIT, I want to offer a special welcome to the representatives of IFAD. I guess they are not here yet, but I saw them on the program and they will be joining, I guess, virtually. The Shanghai Center, the Oyo State Ministry of Agriculture, and OSIDA, as well as bank official technical partners and the selected beneficiaries whom I see on your colorful attires this morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, on behalf of IITA, I want to wish you a wonderful workshop and a happy stay at IITA. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to recognize and welcome the Permanent Secretary for the Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency in person of Mrs. Akonde Fadekemi. Please give her a round of applause. I would also want to recognize and welcome the media team from the Governor's Office. Thank you very much for being here. Right about now, we would like to hear from Dr. Chris Akem, but before we welcome him, I would just like to say that most times when we work alone, we could go to a certain length, but when we work together, we move much further. Now, IITA, through this project, is benefiting from a very great partnership within the Ministry of Agriculture, the Governor's Office, and the likes. But Dr. Chris Akem, who is the lead of the TAT program, has also given so much support, and that's why he's actually the right person to present the vision of Oyo State and the IITA partnership for the Agribusiness Incubation Center at Awe. So please, with also resounding ovation, let's welcome Dr. Chris Akem.
Thank you very much. I would like to stand on existing protocols and go straight to the business. I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome the good crowd that we have in this hall and those who are linked up with us virtually at other locations. It's a privilege to have all of you join us in this inaugural session of the training of the Oyo Hub Training launching. I've been asked to spend a few minutes to indicate the vision that we have for the Awe Hub, which you have already heard about. But for the benefit of those who don't know anything or not familiar with where we are coming from, I just want to make a couple of comments on how it all started. There was a visit by the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Makinde, sometimes at the beginning of last year, to this center. I understand that his vision is to see how he can revamp all abandoned infrastructure or projects within the state, and we are happy that this was one of them. So when he came there, he examined the place and basically decided that he was going to put IITA in charge through a partnership arrangement with the Oyo State government to see how this center could be revived and do what it was meant to do, which is to train rural youth. So that message was welcomed by the IITA management, who immediately arranged a number of visits there with a group of youth teams and the IITA management team to check out, take stock, and make decisions on the way forward. It was on that decision that the IITA management decided that this was a very good opportunity for the P4D, or Partnership for Delivery Directorate at the Institute. We have a lot of technologies. We have an active youth program. What better opportunity than to take this and use it to showcase all the technologies that are being developed at the Institute, and by extension, other research organizations with whom we are working with through the TAT program, that's a Technology for African Agricultural Transformation. So this was a unique opportunity, not just for us at IITA, not just for us at Oyo as a state, but linking the world through the other institutions with whom we work and the technologies that we want to demonstrate. So a decision was made to immediately establish a formal working mechanism. So an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, has been established between the Oyo State, specifically the Oyo State Department of Agriculture Development Agency, and IITA, to see how this center could be used for what it was intended for. Immediately, a lot of things started happening. We don't have time, so we hit the ground running. So one of them was to mobilize all the youths who have an interest in making sure this center is developed, to tidy up the place, take an inventory of what was in place, and then get to work. That took less than no time. Some modeling remodeling has been started, and we are trying to see how we can put back the place in shape to take on the glory days for which it was when it was established. The next thing after the infrastructure was to say, what exactly are we going to do at this center? And the whole idea is to dedicate it to agricultural enterprises. And we brainstormed a little bit and identified a number of enterprises. I grouped them into crop production. We say this is a suitable avenue for cassava. If you go there now, you'll see a lot of cassava already flourishing. We want to introduce maize, we want to introduce soybean, orange fresh sweet potatoes. Some of those things that our youth in other programs have already been involved in. And then, of course, we wanted to make sure we introduce the youth to animal husbandry, especially aquaculture, small livestock, sheep and goat. Of course, we also wanted to look at vegetable production. And there's infrastructure already set up in place, greenhouse infrastructure, to make sure tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, and all the other vegetables are in place. Not forgotten was aquaculture. So if you visit there, you'll see an aquaculture, a fish pond that has already been established and is up and functional. I'm happy to say that a couple of weeks ago, I was at the center, and I'm really pleased to see that everything is up and running, including the plantation crops like oil palm and cashew nuts that we also inherited from the center. So the enterprises are in place. They are ready to kickstart and keep moving. But to do it, we want to do it with the youth. And it goes back to the main purpose of the place, hands-on training. Yes, there are facilities to have a bit of theoretical training, to beef up on the training that you had from your various backgrounds, but most importantly is to have hands-on training of the place. So that, in a nutshell, is the brief background to that center that we are talking about, our center. Yes, we did come together with the Oyo State government, with whom we have this strong partnership, and came up with what we call a vision for the center. What do we want to see happen at this center? Like I've said, the first and primary thing is to use it as a practical field training ground to train Charity Begins at Home, Oyo State, and why not, by extension, other African youths who may be linked through other projects that are being implemented on site. So this is the first inaugural meeting that we are having on this training. And we are hoping that the first set of trainees will become our the training of trainers, where they will take on leadership, not just to go on and start implementing. I'm sure some of them will, but we would like that some of them will stand out and be selected to become our trainers, because we are all aware that youths learn better when they hear from other youths. So that's the challenge we have with the first set of trainees. We know that the Oyo State government has set up some targets. We'll do our best through this center to see how we can jointly meet these targets. I was told initial target is about 3,000 youths, and I guess that will be, in the initial 3 years, maybe 1,000 of them per year. And there's no better way to stand it than to basically launch the training of those who will make sure that this happens. So we are on course to begin exactly that major target, that massive target, to make sure that we train those who will make that happen. When we train the youth, what do we do? Very important. We appreciate the donors, the group of donors that have come up to help us to make sure we practicalize what we are talking about. And that is engaging these youths to end up taking agriculture as a business. But to do that, we need to equip them with a bit of startup funds so that they can actually start up on their own to implement what they have been taught at the center. So that is one of the other visions that we want. Use some of these funds to provide the trained youth with the startup grant so that they can actually go on to practicalize the skills that they have learned at the center. We know that startup grants is what it is. Startup. But we're looking beyond that. Our vision in agriculture, not only at IITA but beyond, is to upscale agricultural transformation throughout Africa. We want the youth to be an active part of that. And for that transformation to happen, there will be a need to link and to facilitate available loans and other grants for these youths to take on so as to expand all the practice that they've initiated. So that is the other target that we have in mind. We are very grateful to the Away community who has made that land available to us through the state government. We want also to make sure we continue to engaging them in different ways, but initially, we know that the park is a little bit isolated. Of course, there's bound to be some security challenges. We are all aware of the security challenges going on right now throughout the nation. We want them to keep an eye, be the gatekeepers to ensure that the security of the place is intact. Of course, there's a direct benefit to them. At the very start of trying to see how we can refurbish the place, we have engaged a lot of labor, mainly from that community. So they also provide labor to make sure that give us a helping hand to make sure the place is up and running. And of course, some of the enterprises, including the processing center that we'll set up in the place, rely initially on raw materials from the community to make it started, while the crops that we are growing can get in place. So again, in a nutshell, that's the vision we have for our way. Make it a model training hub for youth. Make sure that by the time they leave the place, they take on agriculture as a business, not only to demonstrate it throughout Oyo State, but beyond Oyo State, depending on those who have linked up. I will not end the remarks without appreciating the generous support of the Oyo State government for making it possible for IITA to go into this strong partnership with them to make this happen. It's an opportunity that we have. For those who are new, those who are in this hall who have not been there, it's just an hour away from here. We at IITA cannot have a better site for which we can implement our youth training program than Awe, 1 hour away from here. So we want to appreciate the state government for making it happen and giving us this opportunity to engage with them so that we make our vision a joint success. We believe that we all can achieve when we work together, because togetherness is the key. Thank you again very much for coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be watching an introductory video of the entire Agri-Hub project to see how far the project has come since it was initiated. But before we start that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Samson Obole, who is the head of the Soilless Family Lab. Please give him an ovation. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Victoria Madido, who is the group head for the business development under the Bank of Industry Group. I would like to also acknowledge the presence of Ms. Tubi Ibukunlua, who is the coordinator for Oyo Young Agropreneur. Please, wherever you're seated, ma, we would like you to please stand up and move to the front. This is the seat that has been reserved for you. Thank you very much. To the youths that have had the opportunity to listen to IITA senior management, I'm sure you've picked a thing or two from what has been said today. One of the things I would like you to really take home is that a lot of responsibility is on your shoulders. As much as you've been given this opportunity to come and learn through the suite of partners that IITA will be working with, we would want you to see yourself as ambassadors who would also take these learnings that you've had and then also expand it and scale it within your own communities. I hope I'm speaking your mind. I hope some of you are motivated today. Are you motivated? Agri-Hub Agripreneurs, are you motivated? You guys are too quiet, so I need you to shake. Are you motivated? Very good. Okay, please let's give a round of applause to all our partners who have been supporting us from the beginning. To get more details about this project, I would like to invite the project manager, the overall project manager for the Agri-Hub Nigeria project, in person of Mr. Ibironke Ifedayo. He actually coordinates all the partners that are facilitating these hubs in the different states in Nigeria, Apdc and the Songhai Center. So please let's give him a resounding ovation.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Standing on existing protocol, all IT management duly observed, representatives from Oyo State, our support partners, and also our implementation partners, and most especially the stakeholders for today, which are the youth beneficiaries that have been privileged to be selected under the IFAD Agri-Hub project. I want to say a very special good morning to you. And on behalf of the IFAD Agri-Hub Nigeria project, I just want to quickly buttress the video that you've just watched on what the IFAD Agri-Hub project is about. The IFAD Agri-Hub project, the Rural Youth Employment Opportunity, which is a support to agribusiness integrated hubs in the country, is a project that is meant to run for 5 years between 2020 to 2024. And this project is a national project with gender equity focus. At the beginning of year one, we have been able to set up 3 hubs in Nigeria, which is Oyo, Abuja, and Owerri Hub. The Owerri Hub is managed by Songhai, Abuja Hub is managed by Apdc, and also the Oyo Hub is managed by IITA. And you have been selected under the Oyo Hub, and today is the beginning of your journey. In May 10, 2021, we had people like you gathered together in Abuja, also started their journey. And also in July, we also have colleagues of yours in Owerri who also begin their own journey. And today you also begin your own journey here in Oyo State. And this is not the end of those who will begin the journey. The journey is meant to diffuse into other states across Nigeria. And we see that we look at you as a pilot, we look at you as a pioneer, we look at you as a pace setter for this project. And we hope that you will be able to do the project more good. And the project is beyond the 70 of you that are sitting here right now. In the space of 5 years, we have been mandated to reach 3,410 youths across the country. However, we will be reaching out to more than 3,410 by the time we are done with our partners and relevant collaborations that we will have made across the country. Also, not to forget that we are leveraging on existing networks that exist across the Hub presence, which is IITA, Songhai, Apdc, and everybody that will also be coming on board. In March, we rolled out an application online, and that was the birthing idea of this. And then we received over 50,000 applications across the country. And out of this 50,000 applications, over 50,000 applications, we were only to choose just few of hundreds for the year one. After a rigorous selection process, after a thorough evaluation, we were able to come up with these 70 that are here. Can you please applaud yourself? You've done well. Moving further to this, a lot more has been said on the Awe Development Center in terms of effort, resources, sweat, beliefs, commitment, hard work, diligence, perseverance that has gone into that center to making sure it's a reality today. And all of this has gone into place because we were creating an enabling environment that will make you come into the hub as an unprepared individual while you advance through the hub and you are more positioned, you are more built to attract opportunities to yourself, not only here, but across the country and across the world as a whole. And we are not doing this alone. We have a lot of partners we are working with. The project is actually focusing on two main tracks, which is the employment track and the business startup track. The employment tracks are those that after passing through the hub will have gotten the required skill set to attract decent jobs for themselves. As we all know, everybody cannot become business owner at the end of the day. And also, what the hub has to do well to factor in is to retain and sustain the interest of youth. Some of you are actually interested in job. We are not saying we are going to give you job, but what we are saying is that we want to give you what is needed to attract more decent jobs that you ever think you can ever attract yourself. That is what we are telling you today. And also for those people that will be going into business startup, what we are telling you is that the technical know-how, the business know-how, the skill set required, every fundamentals and preparation that you need to be competitive in the outside world with your business is what the hub will be preparing you with. It is no gainsay to tell you that it is indeed a competitive world out there. The business you want to do today, somebody else is doing it out there. So it simply means you are going out there to face a tough competition. But what does the hub do to make sure you are ahead of this competition? The hub has reckoned with all of these competitive factors, use it as a robust curriculum to what will be used to engage you while you pass through the hubs in different value chain at different lifetime. So please, I'm going to implore you again that you take advantage of everything that we have on board, that we have set in place to equip you. And within our partners, not limiting ourselves. For those that will be going to the business startup, we have done well to work with the financial institutions that will be able to provide funding that is appropriate and decent for youth startup. We all know about the situation of loan and grants in the country. And so it has become a mandate for the project to start to identify the bridge between the preference of these youth who want to go into agribusiness and what the banks has to offer. There has to be a common ground. Otherwise, it still becomes a nightmare. And this is one of the reasons why we are partnering with a lot of financial provision agencies that will be helping us to do this. Also within our partners and network are the people that we call the employment firms or job agencies. Like we did mention, some of you will go into the employment track. And those in the employment track, the first level will be that they will be employed by the immediate SMEs that are coming out of the project. That is number one. Secondly, thank you. Another level to the employment is that we have a lot of profiling that we have done on existing agribusiness within the country, and therefore we have within our pool of partners people who are across the value chain that are helping to train people based on the skill set that are needed to manage all these enterprises. If there is time today, a consultant will call in and also tell you about their experience. Poultry care. Poultry care has been into consultancy services, setting up poultry facilities across the country. And from their experience, one of the problems in poultry value chain is that the people managing this poultry are not well equipped, they are not well trained to manage. And so poultry is becoming a scary business or a nightmare business for everyone. And so when we have partners like this on board who have profiled all the problems and they've built it into a curriculum to use to train you. So what I'm simply saying is by the time you are done, you are well positioned to attract jobs across different value chains. Some of them are seated here. I'm seeing Mr. Samson here, who is also into soilless farming. The same thing on his experience, and recently is working on training youth in order for them to become business owners and also to be able to manage this kind of facility. And we also have youth within IITA as well, who are working on renewable energy system, that to make sure that either they generate a business for themselves or they are also able to gain decent employment for firms that will be coming on board. And you know the world is going green. We are going zero waste, and we are going revolving. So that is the essence of all of these partners that we have here. Finally, this is just to assure you, like I said, the journey begins with you, but it does not end with you. However, the kind of pace you set, the kind of footprint you leave behind will determine how far we can go. Despite all of the support from IFAD, despite all of the support from Oyo State government, from IITA, from bank, from institution, from job agencies, from SMEs, from all the commercial firms, from the actor players that we have between the value chain and supply chain system, all of this will come to nothing if the belief did not start with you yourself. Today, as I end my speech, I want to tell you that I congratulate you, and I wish that you know that this is a lifetime opportunity for you, and do not take it for granted. On behalf of IFAD Agri-Hub Nigeria Project and all the implementation crew across the country and those that will come on board, we wish you success in your endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ife. From everything he has said, it's very clear the team at IIT and all its partners are ready for you. But the question to you now is, are you ready? I'm not convinced. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, that's better. Thank you very much. Right about now, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the DG, the Director General for the Oyo State Agribusiness Development Agency, in person of Dr. Debo Akonde. It's a pleasure to have you, sir. Please let's give him a resounding ovation. The next activity on our agenda is to listen to goodwill messages from IFAD and from the partners, the hub partners within Nigeria. For the IFAD country director, he's unavoidably absent at this time, but he was able to, he will be speaking to us virtually, and I hope you take time to listen to what he has to say. And then following that, I'll be welcoming the representative from the Songhai farm to give his goodwill message, Mr. Alex Agba-Dengba, hope I pronounced that correctly. And we'll be listening also to Mr. Moruf Yakub, who is also the representative from Apdc. Thank you very much.
with you today to join this ceremony. It's an important milestone, and it's important that we be part of such milestones because it's a moment where we are seeing the future of Nigeria and we are seeing it today live with our own eyes. So it's this program is particularly important for IFAD because with the International Fund for Agriculture, we really put an emphasis on supporting the most vulnerable populations to really reach their potential and lift them out of poverty and create wealth. And youth are part of those most vulnerable citizens of our countries, but they're also the biggest numbers. In our demographics, youth represent the majority today. So we have to look at them, we have to look at the youth, we have to look at you and see what opportunities can we create for you. You chose to become entrepreneurs. I'm talking to the youth. You chose to become entrepreneurs. So that means that you are creating the opportunity for yourself. And what we are trying to do is to give you the capacity to realize that dream that you have. So we are playing that role of supporting you to achieve your potential. And I'm already seeing that you are achieving that potential. You are immersed in this program with passion. You are bringing your own knowledge. You are acquiring more knowledge. You are networking with your fellow trainees. So this is really a great beginning for all of you. You have to maintain that passion. You have to maintain that spirit because it's really what will carry you through the years as you are starting your business and growing that business. You will need that spirit. That spirit will take you in to lift you up when you fall, because a business will fall from time to time. We don't control the environment. Some of the things we try to control are our knowledge, but we don't control necessarily how the environment will change over the years. Recently, we were dealing with COVID. We are still dealing with COVID. That's something we didn't know, but business must continue to strive. Tomorrow, there will be something else, and we will continue to strive. So we count on you to maintain that spirit. Today, I'm also pleased to see all the participants in this event, all the agencies, the businesses who are here, the professionals who are here to support you. I cannot name all of them, but I'm pleased that we are here together to support these young people because we are the network that they will need to succeed. They can see through us the links to the world that they want to come in, this business world that they want to come in. So we are, by being here today, we are marking that support. We are also showcasing, especially the business people amongst us, we are showcasing what a business can look like in this sector that they've selected. And it is very important that each one of us have that representation, that role model that we can aspire to become. And a lot of time, young people have role models, and tomorrow they are doing even better than the role models, and that is what we wish for everyone. So thank you for the Youth Agribusiness Program for running this training for these future entrepreneurs of tomorrow of Nigeria. Thank you for the IITA for the leadership in this program. And of course, we thank all the different partners who contribute in one way or another to the success, to the successful training of our youth. So thank you, everyone. So I'm very happy to be with you today to join.
Truly inspiring message from the IFAD country representative. Thank you very much, sir. So I would like us to now welcome the representative from Songhai Center, Mr. Alex Agbadengba.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So in Songhai, we just present what we have been doing already in Imo State, which the training for 60 people have already started since June, both ladies and men. And what we are training them for, as is already presented in the program, business management, animal husbandry, animal husbandry, crop production, processing in red oil, processing in gari, and I can assure you that we are doing well, and they are doing well too. And most of them that has come, they are putting interest in the program. And for the team of Oyo, we encourage them to put all their best to make sure that the future is in agriculture, and the future is in the youth hand, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adedingba. Please let's welcome Mr. Yakub Maruf, representing Apdc Center.
Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to not go with the existing protocol, because I believe that the interns here are the most important of everyone here. And I'd like to start with them. Prospective agripreneurs, representatives from Oyo State, the Director General IITA, ably represented by Dr. Alfred, IFAD country representatives, development partners present, the Oyo State Project Coordinating Team, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to join in welcoming you all to this important event where we are here to witness the official opening of training for young women and men that are currently present here today. And these young women and men are interested in going into agriculture, which is one thing that we are here to represent generally as partners in this project, to help these young people who are willing to venture into the agribusiness space, both as entrepreneurs and as employees. The Youth Agri-Business Hub Nigeria project is being financed by the International Funds for Agricultural Development, IFAD, under the overall coordination of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. It is an innovative program designed to empower Nigerian youths and is currently running in Owerri, in Imo State, Abuja in FCT, and here in Oyo State. Its main target is young men and women aged 18 to 35 who are mainly unemployed and desirous of pursuing agriculture as a career. While focusing on youths in general, the project recognizes the special place of women in our economic lives, and therefore has set aside 50% of, at least 50% of all the beneficiaries to be women. Overall, the objective of the project is to empower over 3,000 young agripreneurs across Nigeria in the next few years. In addition to the multiplier effect of job creation and increased supply of premium foods to the economy as a whole. For the Abuja hub, beneficiaries have been selected from the north, and I believe it is the same across other hubs to the regions with which they exist. Young people face difficulties securing full-time employment. In Nigeria, youth make 44.23 million, and that represents 48.9% of the total workforce. Over 55.4% are either unemployed or underemployed. And this shows that the employment challenge we're having in Nigeria is a big one, which needs serious attention. It is even worse when it comes to women. Women in Nigeria experience high rate of unemployment and underemployment in comparison to men. Based on available statistics from the World Bank, in 2018, 26.6% of women within the labor force aged between 16 to 64, willing, able, and actively seeking work were unemployed, compared to 20.3% of men. With the impact of COVID-19, these statistics would likely get much more worse, and which we are already experiencing with the current situation of unemployment. To contribute to ameliorating youth unemployment in our cities, the Africa Project Development Center was established in 2018. Since its inception, Apdc has worked quietly on its proof of concept and testing technologies of viable enterprises which are targeted at young people living in cities and to reorient them to seek careers in agribusiness. Thus, Apdc specializes in urban farming, which we see as profitable, cool, and sexy. It seeks to appeal to young people who are locked up in cities without jobs and unproductively employed, and who are unlikely to return to rural areas, even if they choose to farm. In addition to this, we have set up the Fashionistas Enterprise, which recognizes that youths may not completely be interested in the direct production process of agriculture, and therefore may be interested along the other value chains that exist within agriculture, which specifically represents clothing, that is fashion, which is connected to clothing. And then we also have within this enterprise bead making and other fashion activities. The enterprise will train and prepare young people, especially women, as fashionpreneurs in creative arts, beauty industry, which includes women clothing, makeup artistry, shoes, beads, hairdressing, etc. Apdc also works to enhance capacity building of development professionals in all aspects of project cycle, from sector analytical work, project design, financial and economic analysis, public procurement, public financial services, result-based M&E, and ex-post evaluation of projects and programs. We also train on human resources, planning and management, as well as strategic thinking. Apdc has already provided some of these activities to a number of public and private institutions, both in Nigeria and elsewhere in Africa. For the Agri-Hub Nigeria project, Apdc is the Abuja implementing agency. It provides tailor-made business development and management skills, as well as technical skills with hands-on practical to equip youths to kickstart their startups. We also give competitive edge training through technical internship hosts to provide opportunities for employment in the agri-food sector to those who choose employment track. Apdc is currently administering training in the following proven commodity value chains: horticulture through greenhouse and soilless hydroponics, poultry, both layers and broilers through automated cage systems, aquaculture, mainly catfish production, processing, packaging, and other value chains with which we are training young people. Its IITA Youth Agripreneur program is well established in many countries in Africa. I congratulate the young people here for signing up for this program and for being selected. You are a fraction of the several thousands that applied, who expressed interest, and you are the lucky ones that have been selected. And as such, I admonish that you make the best out of this. We are optimistic that you will become big in future. Yet, like every other business, agriculture has some challenges. There will be bumps, there will be potholes. But with conviction, perseverance, hard work, you will learn and grow. And you will be counted among future millionaires and billionaires of this sector. Please clap for yourselves today. Because in future, people will clap for you. Thus, for the next few weeks or for the next few months, learn as much as you can. Be obedient. Ask the right questions. participate in everything, network with everyone, be happy, plan to excel. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Maruf. Thank you, Alex, for being here today to pledge support for our partners. Right about now, we'll be listening to the Oyo State Vision for Youth Engagement in Agriculture. And to do that, I would like us to welcome no other person but Dr. Adebowale Akonde.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to grace this wonderful occasion and to also speak about what Oyo State government is doing in relation to youth and agribusiness. So I need to do an open disclosure for some of you that probably don't know me well. I work with IITA, okay? So when I was coming in, I had to take out my IITA badge to put a Oyo State badge. So at a point in time, the reason why I said that is that at a point in time, you might see me coming to provide a kind of a support to you from IITA side. Don't be confused. All are interwoven in agribusiness. So for your state, when the new government came on board, His Excellency Governor Oluwaseyi Makinde, it took agribusiness as a priority. We have 4 pillars that are quite of critical focus for the state. And those 4, I think many of us probably will have been aware of that, but I will reiterate them here. Health, education, infrastructure, and economic development. And for the economic development, the primary area where the state chose to strengthen that sector is via agribusiness, because of the comparative advantage that Oyo State has on agribusiness. And among many of those advantages that we have the demography, and of course, which is being shown today, a high number of young people that are strong and have the capacity to support. The second is the land mass, and I think the third one is the weather. Again, I will reiterate probably what has been known. The land mass of Oyo State alone is bigger than the whole of the southeast of Nigeria and bigger than Rwanda as a country, okay? So, as a matter of fact, Belgium is just 1,000 square kilometers bigger than Oyo State. So you know what that means as an asset, but this asset has not been well tapped for a very long period of time. So those are comparative advantages in the state, some of our comparative advantages in the state. And that's what we've been doing. We've then focused on using agribusiness to develop the economy of the state for the past 2 years, minus COVID. What have we done? So we have, the vision is birthed by His Excellency once again, and of course, when the leader of any organization births vision, then the next layer of people that work with him develop the strategy, they do the mission, they bring out the plans and programs. So I won't go into all those details. So we have the strategy for the state, we have the implementation plan, and we have the programs. So for the program under the agribusiness, we have 6 of them that are what we can refer to as 6 step programs. Steps because it's on gradients. The first one is on policy and governance. I won't go too much into details of that. The second one is on incubation park development. That's the second one. The third one is on youths in education program. Oyo State Agribusiness Education Program. Then we have the fourth one, which is about youths in agribusiness. the 5th one on Regional Agribusiness Development Program, and the 6th one on the Rural City Development Program. Now, the program that is being launched today is linked to 2 of these programs, and that's the one on the Agribusiness Innovation Park Development, and the one on the Youth Development. Again, when we talk about development, most time we don't always do a delineation to understand that to support such development, especially for youth, is require both the hard and soft infrastructural development. Soft infrastructural development refers much more to what is happening today and what will be happening via this kind of an agri-hub, where you have trainings, you have capacity development, but of course there is also the hard infrastructure development. You need to have a space for you to be able to implement the project that you want to implement. So, where you'll be doing your training, a lot has gone into it to have that hard infrastructure in place. It's still not yet completed. We're still working hard to do that. And that resources used in that particular place is a combination of resources from the state government of Oyo State and IIT. Of course, the property is owned by Oyo State government. A lot of IIT resources has gone into it. A lot of resources from Oyo State government has gone into it. And that is on the side of the hard infrastructure. But the soft infrastructure, I believe the resources is coming primarily from HIFAD to ensure that training takes place, knowledge is well developed. As I mentioned earlier, the focus of the states on agribusiness also understood too where who should be the critical actors at this stage if we want to build the agribusiness. For a very long time, the actors in the agricultural sector generally and in the Oyo State has been the smallholder farmers. They constitute a high percentage of those that have been working on agriculture within the state. And I will dare say that they've done their best, okay? So it is not about putting them down or saying that they are not the type we want. The reality is that they've done it to the best of their capacity. As a matter of fact, they are the one that has been feeding us up until this period. So we should have that enormous respect for them. But the reality on ground shows that as we grow in population, as we advance in technology, as we advance in ideas and innovations, these particular kind of actors can no longer be the player, okay? Beyond the fact that all these things are happening, age is now also on their side. I'm made to be aware that an average age of smallholder farmers across Nigeria, if not the sub-Saharan Africa, is around 60 upward. So if we have people that are 60 upward, we all have aged people at home. We know that there is a complete difference between how vibrant they were when they were in their 30s and their 40s compared to when they are in their 60s. So there's a gap also. And the expectation is that your generation is the one that will fill the gap. My generation didn't get engaged in agriculture as much as they should. I think my generation only started engaging in practical agriculture in this country through the advent of, I think in the time of President Akiwumi Adesina, who popularized agribusiness approaches and ideas, and the DG of IIT. And that was when you have snippet of my generation that got engaged in agriculture here and there. So we're relying on you guys, okay, to feed us in the future so that people like us will not be hungry. So we're hoping that this is going to provide the right kind of training and support that is required for you to be grown in that particular area. So for your state also, beyond the fact that we are partner in this particular project, I've mentioned the hard infrastructure, the Our Incubation Center, which is one of the incubation centers we want to build in the state. We will have several others as we go along, but we want to see how this panned out first before we start building in another region. The Oyo State government also have a project under Oyo State Youth Agribusiness Program called YEP. Probably some of you might probably have heard about it, Youth Entrepreneurship Agribusiness Project, coincidentally coordinated by a specialist from an IIT as well, who has gone through the same training that Ifedayo and your coordinator has gone through. And what that project, initial thinking was that the project was going to cater for 1,000 youth within the state. So we did a launch at Shaki, sometimes 2 months ago, and we were working through all the papers and details. So when I made a presentation to His Excellency and had a discussion with him and His Excellency, in our discussion, I made mention that when we sent out the application, over 22,000 people applied, okay? And we needed 1,000. So he told me, Debo, this to me doesn't look realistic. How are we going to select just 1,000 out of 22,000 people? It's not even 10%, it's not even 5%, you know. So he said we have to increase the number. Of course, we have to look for resources here and there to ensure that we're able to implement that. And that has currently been moved to 3,300 now, youth across the whole of the state. I believe he made the announcement during the interactive section they have at the University of Ibadan just a couple of days ago. And these 3,300 will be trained in a particular private training center in collaboration with IITA. We were having that discussion because of some of the crops that they have to get engaged into as well. So it's essential for you to know that you are not alone. We will be collaborating with IITA much more. Again, I think a project within IITA currently, I think, is ongoing. It's training close to around 75 women or girls from the list of the 1,000 we have. That's the C1 project, which is also an IITA French government-supported project, is going through that training. So by the time we have the Agri-Hub, we have the YEP, we have the C1 within our state, I think we will have soldiers of agribusiness entrepreneurs, you know, within the state. When I was talking to His Excellency, and he said, Debo, even if it's just 50% of them that is successful and survive, I'm more than happy, you know. So it's really keen on seeing that the youths are engaged, and not just engaged in just anything, not just engaged in the usual, but for them to become entrepreneurs, you know. It believes so much in the youth, it believes so much in what you have the capacity to do, and as much as we can as a state, we will continue to provide support for this project and for all the youth in agribusiness within the state. Again, I will advise that you continuously ensure that you are well guided. You are not going into one of the easiest field. Get the reality in your mind. It's challenging. But there's nothing in life that is not challenging. That is the reality. Dr. Dixon, who probably has seen most of it in agriculture, and Dr. Akemia will tell you the reality, that almost nothing, you know, in life that is not challenging. I'll be surprised if there's something that's not challenging. But don't go with the mindset of entitlement. I think that is one thing that they have accused your generation of, that you feel entitled, you know. They accused, but then you prove them wrong, that you are not entitled generation. They said you feel as if you are entitled to things, you know, and that is wrong. Nobody is entitled to anything except your life. You know, every other thing you work hard to get it. So work hard to get this. Ensure that you listen to instruction, you are well guided by your peers and trainers. Beyond that, I think for me, one of the crucial things that we don't take advantage of is peer mentoring, okay? You have a lot of people that has gone through these processes at IITA in the past. Have them as peers. I believe there will be that dimension to your training here, where you can ask them questions, you can ask them in their area that they have fixed challenges, the risks they've seen, and how that has been overcome. Once again, I want to congratulate you. I believe again that many great agripreneurs were emerged from this cohort. And this is going to create that kind of a transformation and paradigm shift that is expected in these states and in this country. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. I believe the project is very fortunate to be hosted in this state, a state that sees the potential of agriculture and then also invests resources, capital, and also improves their policy to accommodate young businesses to thrive. Please, a round of applause. The next agenda for us is to go for our photograph and our tea break, but before doing that, I would like to acknowledge a few people. We have representatives here from the National Association of Chamber and Commerce Industry, Mining and Agriculture, that's NASIMA. We have Mr. Dare Obelawo, Deputy Southwest Youth Entrepreneur. We also have here Mr. Shegun Bolaji, who is the Southwest Coordinator for the Youth Entrepreneurs. Thank you very much for coming. We have Mr. David Awotipe, who is the Director General for Odua Chamber of Commerce. You're welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Jide Akosile, who is the member of Agbe Tundun Global Limited. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Okay, to coordinate the pictures that will be taken, I would like you to look to your left. You see a young man standing there, Mr. Tomiwa. Please, we'll just move from the back so that we don't become clustered in one position. So I would like everyone to, those from the high table to move first. Please, let's give respect to whom respect is due. So we'd like to start from this point, Dr. Dixon, sir, and then every other person will follow through this exit. Thank you very much.
for especially the youths, so they can focus on their needs and their demands. And luckily, we have the Southwest coordinator for NYE amongst us here, Mr. Segun Balaji, Engineer Segun Balaji is here. And for the second group, the women, we have what we call Nasima Business Women Group, because internationally and globally now, most things you do, you see that they say 60% will be for women and youth, and they have the peculiar needs. We are gender sensitive. And so we created those two trade groups, amongst other trade groups, to be able to satisfy their needs. And so what we're saying is that immediately after this event, we are looking at absorbing the participants into the Chambers of Commerce system, wherever you are, because every business has a location. So there's a locality to where you operate. If you're in Ogbomosho, there's one Chamber of Commerce. If you're in Oyo, there's a Chamber of Commerce. If you're in Ibadan, there's a Chamber of Commerce. If you're in Ekiti, there's other Chambers of Commerce. If anywhere you are, there's a Chamber of Commerce close to you. And the fact is that whatever challenges you're going to have in your businesses, you cannot handle it alone. So we have the collective power, the bargaining power. We could reach anybody in this nation. And I must say that as of today, the Chambers of Commerce is on the board of about 50 companies and MDAs. So if you need SON approval, we can do it for you. NAFDAC approvals, trademarks, because when youth develop ideas, the challenge is how do they get them registered? The protocol is so difficult. But with the Chambers of Commerce, these are things that can be made easy for you. But again, you just have to belong to be able to access these kind of things. Now, if you look at the challenges facing the youths, apart from access to market, a major issue will be access to finance. Access to finance. It keeps recurring. And what we're now saying at the Chambers of Commerce is that enough of funding. Now we want to focus on financing. And what do I mean by that? Funding is when you have government allocation. Government should allocate X% to the youth, X% for agriculture. There are constraints to government finances now. So we're now developing innovative sources of financing that can be sustainable commercially, so that immediately you finish kind of training, you have your business plan, you could be able to assess what kind of funds you need to be able to grow your business to the next level. So to not take much of a time, the Chambers of Commerce is there to provide access to market, access to finance, linkages, and networking. And we could reach, on my way to this place, I got a call from the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports. We're engaging with them on the NYIF, 25 billion. That is a drop in the ocean for what the youth in Nigeria needs. And we're looking at creating a fund of about 200-300 billion, which can be accessed by some of these youth. So the Chambers of Commerce is available, it's close to you. And like I said, we're going to find a system to work with organizers to now absorb the participants of this event and subsequent ones into the Chambers of Commerce, so that this training can be meaningful and then sustainable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, a round of applause for him again. For someone that has been in this sector, empowering young people in agriculture, those problems that he has mentioned are so significant for young people, and it's great to see that we'll have the privilege and opportunity to work with you, sir, to ensure that the young people that will be trained by us are able to succeed and are able to integrate themselves within the agribusiness ecosystem. Thank you very much. So moving forward, right now, we'd like to have the panel discussion. We'll be discussing accessing green jobs and innovative financing options for productive youth engagement in agribusiness. And to coordinate this session, I would like to invite here Mr. Oshun Idowu, who is the Business Development Officer for the Youth in Agribusiness Office. Please let's welcome him.
Good morning, everyone. And please permit me to stand on existing protocol. Well, I especially greet Chief Akoshile. We met in Lagos, and I still have the plan to come and meet with you in the office so that we can come up with a good plan on how to work things out. Yes, this morning we have some professionals in the house. They are experts, and I will be inviting them forward for the panelist session. And let me start by inviting, I'll start with a lady. You know, they are our mothers. So I'll start by inviting Mrs. Victoria Madedo. Please jam those hands together as she comes to the stage. So, she holds a B Agric in Agricultural Economics from the University of Benin, Edo State, a Master's in Business Administration, and currently pursuing another Master's in Marketing and Innovation at the Metropolitan School of Business in the UK. An experienced business development consultant with a focus on agricultural sector, and currently the Group Head, Business Development at BOI Investments and Trust Company, a subsidiary of the Bank of Industry, Nigeria. She has volunteered as mentor to Google Accelerator Launch Pad in 2017, Lagos State Government Ready Set Work Program in 2017, International Business Accelerator 2018. She has worked as resource person for several organizations, including Lagos Business School, Lagos State Government, Edo State Government, My Farm Base Africa, Invest Africa Magazine, JMSF Agribusiness on World Bank Project, and Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. She sits as board advisor to several agribusiness organizations and the initiator of slum inclusion focused on slum development through agribusiness, and co-initiator of Super for African SMEs. We focus on telling the African farmers stories. So once again, please jam your hands together for Mrs. Madedo. Next, I'll be inviting Mr. Adamu Garba. He is the head of Business Development and Innovation at Nigeria Climate Innovation Center. Please jam your hands together for him. Yeah, he started out in banking sector with 10 years working experience across heading branch level retail and commercial banking in GTB and Access Bank. He moved to the airline sector as the head of ancillary revenue and partnerships at Arik Air. Adamu joined ARM very briefly as a consultant to offer strategy and direction on driving ARM products and services. He is currently the head of business development and innovation at the Nigeria Climate Innovation Center, and is a graduate of economics and has attended certification courses on business strategy at the Pan-Atlantic University. That's the Lagos Business School. Once again, please, jam your hands together for him. Yeah, next, I will be inviting another lady, and now I'll be calling to the podium Miss Ibukunlua Tubi. Please jam your hands together for her. Yeah, she's the coordinator for Oyo Young Agripreneurs. It's a popular youth organization in Oyo State. She's a nutritionist and currently a PhD student at the University of Ibadan. She's the coordinator of Oyo Young Agripreneurs. Yeah, the organization is an organization comprising of youths in agriculture, started from Oyo State. Well, let me not read about the organization. Well, Well, currently, she coordinates the organization, and they have presence in all stations across the state, and they have supported over 200 youths. Some of them have been funded in running their businesses, and they have been providing technical support, business support, and all the support for those youths, and they are doing well in business. So once again, please jam those hands together. Yeah. Well, the next person I'll be inviting is another lady, and her name is Idayat Salisu. Please jam your hands together for her. She works with Apex. She's one of the professionals working with Apex. I don't have a profile yet. I'll give her time to speak a little more about herself. Please jam your hands together for her once again. And finally, I decided to invite him last. I know you know him very well. I will not read all his profile because it will take much of my time, but I'll definitely read part of it. But join your hands together as I invite to the podium. He's one of us, and I know you enjoy him very well. Samson Ogbole. Please jam your hands together for him. Yeah, he's the team lead at Upepsia Place Limited. I'm careful. I don't want to remove my teeth. That's the Soilless Farm Lab. That's the popular name. Yes, he has a BS in biochemistry from Ibadan University, and he has an MSc from Ibadan, and he's a PhD candidate also from the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Then he has a lot, but please, let me just simply stop there because of our time. So please, once again, let's join our hands together for the panelists.
I prefer to join them on the stage here so that we can flow together. Yeah, we'll be looking at a interesting topic, but we have two key words there. The key words are green jobs and innovative financing. So we are looking at the options for productive youth engagement in agribusiness. So green jobs and innovative financing. Well, it's not a news that agriculture has contributed immensely to the growth of national economy in Nigeria. Well, I don't have much to say about that introduction. Green jobs is about the jobs in the areas of environment, in the areas of natural resources, but I will tailor it down to agribusiness. Agribusiness. Then talking about innovative financing, you're looking at the non-conventional ways of raising funds for agribusiness. Now, the linkage between the two is this. A lot of people have been trained, just like Chief Akoshile said. But there have been complaints about being trained, I could not start, I could not do this because of A, B, C, D. So we'll be looking at, then according to what my colleague said, Ifedayo, that from these trainings, we are looking at two categories of people. Some people that will take jobs in agribusiness, that's why we're looking at green jobs, and some other youths that will be starting their own agribusiness enterprises. Well, the first question I want us to discuss is this, and I'll give you just maybe 30 seconds to discuss it. When we are growing up, and the reason why so many people would struggle before they can think of anything agribusiness, picking up a job, picking up an opportunity in agribusiness is because when we are growing up, the prayer they will pray for us is you become a doctor, you become a lawyer, you become an accountant, yes or no? And that is why when you get to primary schools, when you get to secondary schools, when they ask them, what do you want to become? Automatically, what comes to the head is, I want to become a pilot, I want to become a doctor, you understand? So, can we really have rewarding jobs in agribusiness? That's the first thing I want us to discuss. I know I have met with different banks, different financial institutions, different organizations trying to negotiate opportunities for trained youth. And I know I've reasons to tell them that the type of youths we are training or the kind of opportunities we are looking for are those that will position our trained youths in situations where they have to meet their father-in-laws and say, I am a farmer. They can actually point at achievements. And the guy will say, yes, I give you my daughter in marriage. So, you understand? Especially when you want to marry an Igbo girl. You understand what I mean? So the first question is, can we really have rewarding jobs in the along agricultural value chain? Just 30 seconds for that. I'll start with Madam Adedo.
Yes, we have rewarding jobs in the agriculture.
We have.
Yes,
we
have rewarding jobs in the agricultural sector and very high-paying jobs, and they are tailored towards specific skill sets. For those, most especially now, for those that are looking at data analysis, those that are looking at using remote sensing technology to build whatever they are doing in the agricultural sector, leveraging on technology. Once you understand the power of technology, you hold the power of respect in agriculture in your hands. Yeah. And they are all high-paying jobs.
Thank you. Technology, I'll still come back to that.
All right, thank you. So I think for me, there's a perception problem.
Okay.
Especially amongst the youth. But I'm happy we have amazing youth here who have taken the challenge in this first cohort. But there's a perception problem which has been consistent for a very long time, that most youth, kind of see agriculture as a laborious work. I can't go to the farm and get my hands dirty. There's this, stigma around it. But as she has rightly said, along the value chain, we have very decent jobs. Now, what are these decent jobs? These are jobs that you can make a career out of. Probably might not be a waged job, but it could be an entrepreneurial, kind of work, which you can, start up as your own business and can generate jobs as well. You can leverage digital platforms. You can leverage technology to a great extent. Today in Nigeria, we have tractors. That's like Uber for tractors, for example. And there's just so many of them. But I'm happy to answer more questions as the questions go around.
Yeah, thank you. So, Ms. Tubi.
Okay, thank you so much. I will say that for every youth looking for a job, the first thing you should consider is what's the prospect of anything I'm going into. And agriculture, of course, it deals with food. And has anybody not eaten today? Can we do without food for 2-3 days? So that's it. Looking at agriculture is something that everybody has needs of. Agriculture is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's the way we should look at it as youths. And the good thing about agriculture is that everything can be linked into it. Talk about technology, talk about fashion, talk about engineering, talk about whatever it is, everything can be linked into it. And that is why agriculture is unique. It's the most unique out of every other sector. And the more we can look deep into, what agriculture is, the better we can see. So okay. Agriculture is highly rewarding.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right, Hidayah.
Thank you very much. So I'll just jump
You
up
just have 30 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just jump up from where my sister here stopped. She said that agriculture is very multidimensional. So you don't have to be a core and the farmer to be on the farm to be part of the agri-business. As an engineer, as an accountant, we have accountant on the farm as well. We have doctors on the farm as well. So you just have to find yourself along the value chain and where you can strive
Plug into.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, Samson?
Yeah, thank you.
I
Is
give you
agriculture
30 seconds.
Is it rewarding? The answer is yes.
Okay.
Minus the folks that are wearing yellow, every other person here is working in agriculture. How do they look? Do they look poor? If the answer is no, that answers the question.
Thank you so much. I do expect less. Yes, thank you. Everybody agreed that we can actually pick up nice jobs, and it's about the technology, it's about perception, and everything will still eventually be linked to agriculture, which means that whatever course of study, whatever your skills, your experience, you still have a place in agriculture. So for the folks that are looking at picking up jobs in agriculture, there are limitless opportunities. The next question I want to ask is, okay, now we've been training. We have a lot of people trained already, and of course, you know the quality you expect when they are trained in an organization like IITA. I just want us to quickly rub minds on, okay, how best can we help the trained youths to be engaged with organizations that need them? What I mean is this: the organizations are somewhere, the youths are somewhere. So getting the jobs, the desired jobs, that's what I want us to talk about. Now, there's a possibility, look at where I'm coming from. There's a possibility that some people, okay, in the last 2 weeks, I was speaking with a guy from the UK, and they are complaining about how they have invested in agribusiness and they got their fingers burnt. So some people are there that need them. So I just want to pick ideas from you, engaging those youths with the jobs they desired. I mean, the employees. So maybe two people should speak on this, Samson and Karba.
Right. So I think for issues like this, we have to leverage partnerships and collaborations. For me, that's the key. At NCIC where I work, one of the primary functions or services that we provide for our entrepreneurs is to provide linkages and networks. Just as Chief has said, without having the right platform to partner and collaborate, you keep on training, and you have a pool of entrepreneurs, and that pool will just get saturated over time, and would have another unemployment, pool, attached to your, entity or your organization, because it's always about what's the way forward from here after training. So we do all that we can to grow with our entrepreneurs and provide them with the necessary linkages or networks that, they need. Even though we don't just focus on agriculture, we focus on, other, sectors in the green economy. But because today's discussion is centered around agriculture, so I'll just stick to agriculture. We have a few entrepreneurs of ours, I think about 4 of them, who are currently working with NERSAL, providing, clean agri solutions for them. So that way we can say we are part of their success story. So it's about growing with your entrepreneurs and creating that leverage now, before they even start the training, and not when they finish the training and you're thinking of what you can do with them. So I think I'll just stop there.
Okay. Samson?
Thank you so much. I'll speak from the aspect of the youth. It's one thing to be trained, it's another thing for the youth to understand that it is their job to reach out. Somebody said that nobody cares how much you know, rather they care about what you can do or what you have built, and what you can do is based on what you have built in the past. So for so many youth, yes, there is so much you have been taught, but try and do something on your own. Try and reach out. Try and volunteer in organizations you intend to work. Then, I know that probably may not apply right now, but I know there is a program in IITA of STEP where they are trying to teach students from secondary school. There is a need for those students to start going out to firms like IITA, other agricultural sectors, to see where they can volunteer. So that way you know early if where you are is where you want to be. So that you do not go for so many trainings and find out at the end of the training that the training was great, but that is not really where you want to stay. Then, of course, take advantage of the social media. This is 2021. The reason you are here is because you heard about the program online. So it means that if you are going to latch onto opportunities, you also need to go online, reach out to these organizations. Okay, this is what I can do. This is what I've been able to build. You've been taught how to grow cassava, how to grow sweet potato on a large scale. Before the opportunity comes to grow potatoes on a large scale, grow potatoes in the bucket. Push it online. Let the world see what you can do. And much more than what you can do is the power of consistency. So once you are consistent in that, there will be somebody watching that is like, this guy has been growing one potato every month for the past 2 years. Let's give these guys opportunity. Then, of course, with the partnership and collaborations at the top and your consistency and your perseverance to reach out, together you can then get those opportunities you are looking for. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. As cheap as the question looks, I appreciate the fact that we have been able to address it from two perspectives. One, from the perspective of organizations, then from the perspectives of the youths trained. Well, there is a popular saying in Yoruba that it's the child that opens arm. It's not only the mother that will carry the child, it's everybody as long as the child is willing to be carried. Now, so we've talked about, okay, reaching out on the part of the trained youth, because in Nigeria, one of the things common is, IT, they trained us, they did not do anything. You understand? People are always looking for excuses, but it's a two-way thing. While you can trust IITA for partnerships, we have done our homeworks, the hub manager is there, we have all strategies in place, but still, on the part of trained youth, you still have a lot to do. Reach out, volunteer. I was talking with a lady yesterday, and I said, okay, if you can just identify a good organization, volunteer with them. A lot of opportunities come from that. I said, volunteer, they won't give me money. That's the first thing they think about. They won't give me money. So, okay, reaching out, volunteering, taking advantage of social media, then consistency. Thank you so much. This next question, I want everybody to share his your views on it. Now, I have met youths that have been complaining, just like I just said, complaining about I could not start anything. You know, those banks, they are just promising, they don't give loans. It's because of loans, because of I cannot start anything. Now, so they give reasons for why they could not start their agribusiness enterprises even after being trained. So you even find some of them that will end up taking a for output job, 15,000 naira every month. You can imagine. You can imagine. Something you are laughing. I know your thoughts. So even end up getting ridiculous jobs out there. So what are the ways to starting agribusiness enterprises? Looking at these flimsy excuses. Now, you know, we're talking about innovative funding, financing, you understand? Yes, the banks will give you conditions, even though we've been we have some partnerships now and they are ready to work things out with us. But apart from the conventional ways, what are the ways of to starting agribusiness enterprises? I'll start with 2B. I know the organization has an approach. Then after that, every other person would speak about it. Please, 1 minute each. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll say that the first thing is remove the mindset that you don't have what it takes to start. That's the first thing. Because even if you are given so much, you always feel that it's not enough. And then I will also say that start with what you have. You know, if you, for instance, you want to start planting, you don't have so much money to get land. You can lease land. You can get land from your family land. You know, someone can just maybe give you land to use for some time. You know, so look out. There is always opportunity. When you look out when you ask people, and don't keep quiet. When you need something, please, I need this. How can I get this? Someone will link you to something, to someone. So start with what you have. There's always something that you can start with. And I'll also say that if you need some funds to start, you know, it's always good to start little in agriculture, because along the line you learn so much, you fall, you rise, and then if you're starting big, the falling might be very, very disastrous. So start little. With the little fund you can raise from family members, you know, from crowdfunding, you know, from maybe a friend, and you know, just start. It's just good, and it's actually better that you start without loan. Don't look at, oh, I need to get this loan before I can start. Start with, you know, the little that, you know, you can use to learn, you can use to grow, and then as the business expands, you can now source for other funding opportunities to expand. Thank you.
All right. Just to add to what she has said, it's very advisable that you start very small, like she said. Looking out, loan should not be the first thing you think of when you want to start your own agri-business. You have to get your hands dirty, get into the job. If you look at the resources within your capacity, don't look out, build on them first. Then you can now say, yeah, I'm here now, these are the challenges I have, and seek for help.
So before you start, the first thing is I'll take one of my mentors' words, Ambassador Shola Adini. He will tell you, dream big, start small, scale first. Now, but you see, the problem is in starting small, you need to understand what we call your business process. Because most of the time, for so many people coming into agribusiness, you take other people's risk and add it to your risk because you are just about starting. So it's important you distill the process to understand, what really do I want to do? Do you want to grow cassava or do you want to sell cassava? They are two different things. If my vision is to sell cassava, then I have no business growing cassava. If my vision is to sell gari, I should not start by owning a gari plantation, because that way you realize that when you invest all your money into production, if anything happens to that money you've put in production or to the process of production, you've lost all your capital, you are back to square zero. So I usually advise, if you are thinking of farming, start first with selling. Because most of the time in agribusiness, we underrate the place of selling. We think, oh, everybody eats, so that means whatever I produce, we sell. And that is a big fallacy. I always give this example during our classes that as a guy, I cut my hair. But before I get to the salon I cut my hair, there are other salons I pass. Interpretation that you have gari to sell does not mean everybody on your street will buy from you. Some people will deliberately pass you, not because they hate you, just because they chose not to. So the key is, before you start that business, do you have a market willing to buy? If yes, learn from this drop shipping now that they do from China. Get somebody that trusts you enough to give you some little produce, try to sell, test the market. The profit you get, you cannot throw that into whatever it is you want to do. If your vision is, no, I want to go into logistics in agribusiness, look for somebody that owns a car that is already willing to transport. Go and get people that own the produce, get the car person to transport it in, and get little money on top. That way you share from the profit, but you share zero of the risk. That is the first way to start. Understand the process of what you want to go into. See where you can plug in without sharing the risk of the process. If what you are thinking of is, oh, data analytics or all of that, find a way to plug in first without sharing the risk. And the only way to understand the process is to go back to what I said before. Volunteer in an existing organization to understand the process. It is one thing to be taught the theory, it's another thing to experience the practical. Let me take a word from when we were reading Madame V's citation. There was something that was said in her citation. I know people caught it. She has volunteered for other organizations despite her level. She still volunteers for other organizations, so she's still learning from other organizations. She's still boosting. So how much more you that is just starting? That you have a BSc or a PhD first class from the university, the reality is in life you still have nothing until you go and test your knowledge. What you know has not been tested, so it cannot be trusted, so you cannot be empowered. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. That's great. That's great.
Okay, to add to what Samson has said, I'd say if you want to start right. Most of us, when we have money, we're always in a hurry to implement our visions or our dreams. When you have, no matter how much or how small your capital is, you must understand how to start. And that is what differentiates a bankable business from a business that is not bankable. That's what attracts funders to you. The way you start will determine how far you will go. When you want to start a business, ask yourself, am I a B2B business, a B2C business, or a B2G business? Where a B2B means, am I selling to other businesses? And I will always advise, start from a B2B scenario. Because yes, your margins may be small, but your risk will be lowered in terms of your market risk. You are assured that this set of people will buy my produce. You can approach them and say, I want to produce for you. You are, or I want to sell to you. You buy cassava tubers from a set of people to sell only to Gary processors, not for you to process. So you are doing a B2B. Once you're able to define where you are in the value chain and the strategy you want to use to enter, then you're starting right. You are able to define your market to say, these people are my market. And piloting is never underestimated. You must test the waters and get confidence. In testing the waters and starting small, you're able to define your value proposition. You can then determine what kind of quality is now attractive to the kind of market around you. For example, you decide to process poultry birds, right? And you believe that everybody, there's so much eatery around, there's restaurants around, they will buy my broiler birds once it is ready.
An assumption.
That is an assumption.
Great.
You have not tested the market. You might get to the market and some eateries will tell you if it is more than 1.8 kg, we will not collect. Meanwhile, you have grown your bird to 2.2 kg. Then you see you are selling at loss. So understanding at the pilot stage is critical. What I'm saying today is, first, start right by defining your market. Secondly, by piloting to understand your market. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Garba?
Well, what do I have to say? I mean, they have said everything, right? So I think in closing, I can just say that so long you have a viable business model and a viable financial model, even though you're just starting up, along the value chain, first of all, just try to identify your strengths as regards the services that you can provide. So that will help you build a very viable business model, of which even if you're approaching family and friends for money, they will understand that you know what you're saying. So you can't be saying A and practicing B. So that will kind of, plummet my confidence in you to even advance you the money. Now, whether we like it or not, we could speak here, but honestly, access to finance is too key. I mean, you need finance to actually grow, no matter how small, in whatever space, be it micro, small, or medium. Because I'm coming from the banking industry, I'm used to, talking about access to finance, more on that debt financing, meaning you're taking loans from banks. But today we have innovative, means and sources of financing. We have very good angel networks out there. It's all about putting your ears in the ground and staying within that ecosystem, and you will find them. In a way, I'm not trying to contradict what I'm saying. They are hard to find, but at the same time, they are easy to find, honestly. We have venture capitalists. These are people who can give you patient funds and grow with you. So if I could pick one of the entrepreneurs here, after their training and say, okay, you know what, I think I like what you're doing and I like your business model and I would like to invest in what you're doing. So more or less, I'm being part of his business. Even though it's not like equity financing, which is close to that I'm buying part of your business, but I will nurture that business with you and give you, mentoring services for free, and then we grow together, all right? Crowdfunding is regulated by SEC, we know, but if you do it right, you'll get it right, as she said. Just get it right. Get whatever model it is that you have within that, value chain that can help you structure financing so that you can grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When I'm chatting with people, looking at the way they make their presentations, some questions will keep. I'm tempted to ask for the grade you finished with, but I will not ask because people are here. you have spoken like a genius, and you have actually peeped into my questions here. So don't worry, I'm still coming back there. But from all we have said, you talked about identifying our area of strength. Well, I like that so much because when you start from your areas of strength, your chances of failing is minimal. It's minimal. Then talked about viable business model, financial model. We've looked at testing waters so that you get confidence. Then start right. Look at your business. Are you doing B2B, B2C, B2D? Now, we've talked about mindset, about money, talked about starting with little. Yeah, starting with little. I remember, I've been involved in so many trainings, and I remember there was this particular guy that came for a training on vegetable production, and the guy said, if he had known that the money he was supposed to use on his construction project, as in building of his house, he just thought, business, let's put money in business so that we can make more money. The guy put 7 million naira and it all went off like that. You can imagine the kind of problem, But if you start little and if you test waters, and especially if you have people you work with, like what we do, our trained youth, we don't allow them to just go alone. We provide support for them when they start their business. Then looking at what exactly you want to do, looking at vision and mission. So you cited example of growing cassava, selling cassava. All these are they are very, very good points. Then I want to advise that please make sure that you are jotting all these points. See, all these points will still come back to you in future. And I have this announcement. If you have questions, please, I expect that you start writing your questions now. But let's just do this approach. Just wave your hands. Someone will come to you, drop a sheet with you on which you can write down your questions. So if you need a sheet where you can write your questions, just raise up your hand. Someone will come to you so that at the end you can collate all questions. Then the person that will coordinate that session will handle it. Yes. You were talking about, you actually read my question. You mentioned angel investors, venture capitalists. You said they can find them. So how can they find them? Now, we have so many options in the innovative funding. We have crowdfunding, angel investors, venture capitalists. How can they find them? Well, that is after they have tested waters, after they have gotten it right, and they think now it's about scaling. Definitely they need funding, they need financing. So how can they identify angel investors? Or maybe you should start by defining it. What are angel investors, venture capitalists, and how can they find them? Thank you.
All right. So in most cases, they find you.
Good.
You don't even find them. They have seen something in you. For example, I think if I heard Wahid properly, I think in his introduction he said about 12,000 applications were rolled in.
Exactly.
By the end of the day, I think less than 1%, of this cohort was picked. So definitely, IITA must have seen something in them, and that's why, they have brought them into this fold. So I think it's just natural that if you know what you're doing, if your business has that, capacity to scale, all right, it's just a matter of time. I'm just telling you this based on experience. I'm not just making up points, because that's what we do at our hub. Because we have churned out entrepreneurs, I think over 60 now, and they just send me a WhatsApp message sometimes that, okay, they've received $100,000, they've received $500,000, some of them $1 million funding. They didn't reach out to those guys, really, 80% of the time. It's because they have a business model that works. I can only approach you if your business model works. So if you graduate from a university and you have a pass, and Victoria has a first class, she doesn't have to come to me. If I get to know she has that, I come to her. Definitely. So I think it's just the law of nature. So it's not that venture capitalists are somewhere behind Lagos Ibadan Expressway, and you go there, you meet them and say, I want you to invest in me. However, I know they have a network, all right? So I can just advise that you keep your ears on the ground, attend seminars like this, be more on ground, I would say, be consistent in terms of information on what is going on around your ecosystem. You find a lot of applications coming in as grants and as equity and different forms of, innovative funding, as we might say. So they are not in these particular places where you just go and find them, even though some of them are very obvious. For example, we're doing one at our hub at the moment where they would give about 8 of the most viable, entrepreneurs about $10,000 each at the end of the incubation program. But that's on renewable energy, so I don't want to confuse that with, but they are venture capitalists, okay? So that's what they do. They invest in your business and grow with you. Even though they give grants, like this they're giving our entrepreneurs are just basically grants, but that's on renewable energy. So through partnerships and collaborations, of course, if we find another organization that's willing to fund agri-related, smart businesses, obviously we would like to work with you and see that, your entrepreneurs grow. So we're willing to play in that space, at your earliest convenience.
Yes, we are more than ready to work with you. We definitely will take it up after.
Yeah. So, but I didn't really, define what you were saying. So if just for knowledge sake, I think angel investors are just people who invest in your business. They are risk takers. They just invest in your business and not even knowing whether the business will scale or not. That's what they do. As I said, they are hard to find and difficult to find as well. But, they are there. They're out there. Now, venture capitalists are much more structured. They look at your business model, your financial model. They help you tweak it around because they've seen potential in you. And then they invest in you and also have a bit of equity from your business.
Have equity in the business. I love that. Thank you. Any other addition? Just addition?
Okay, so if I may add to what he has said, we have Lagos Angel Network, right? So if you're seeking angel investors, you should try to attend seminars or webinars that are conducted by the Lagos Angel Network. For venture capitalists, they are more interested in technology-driven projects. So if you are doing agriculture, innovative agriculture, you're using remote sensing or autonomous vehicles, machines like drones. If you're using things like that, that's what interests and excites venture capitalists. You can join Founders Institute. Founders Institute will unlock more than 2,000 venture capitalists for you across the world. So they've supported a lot of businesses that are tech-enabled in Nigeria. So it's either you join Founders Institute Lagos or Founders Institute in Abuja. Currently, those are the only two that they operate. There are so many of that you can leverage on. You can also join Nourishing Africa Network. They have, they always advertise and send newsletters about funds, be it grants, be it debt funding, and all of that. But for you to access these funds, like I said, you have to be investment ready. Investment ready goes beyond having a business plan. Your business plan does not guarantee you funding. And a lot of entrepreneurs get upset that they paid so much money to develop a business plan that looks very voluminous and, you know, beautiful to the sight, and they were unable to access whether equity, grant, or debt funding. So let this be like a key takeout, that your bank business plan does not guarantee funding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
Just say something very quickly.
Thank you.
Every entrepreneur, every agripreneur here should learn how to pitch. 1 minute pitch. You should be ready, because you can meet anybody ready to invest in your business at any time. It might even be here. So you should be able to, you know, have something short about what your business is all about, you know, what business, what problem you're solving, and then, you know, something short and how you're, you know, going to make profit. In 1 minute, you should be able to convince anybody that your business is good enough to be invested in. And this is a skill that everybody here, every agripreneur here should learn. You can learn this, you know, you have several resources online that you can, you know, learn this from. You know, stay in front of the mirror, rehearse this over time, be prepared so that when the opportunity comes, you'll be able to act on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, learning how to pitch. Pitching is key, is important, because you never can tell when the opportunity would come. It could be in an organized way, it could be maybe unorganized. You may just have the chance to meet someone and just presenting your business. That may just be the open door you've been waiting for. Attend seminars, attend some workshops, seek information, then learn to apply for grants. Don't just sit down there. A lot of people complaining about the president, complaining about the nation, complaining about all systems, complaining about everything. I am speaking from experience. I've shared a lot of grant opportunities, and I can tell you that they won't apply. They will still be complaining. So learn to apply for grants, and been advised to join NASIMA, look for Lagos Angel Investors Network, look for Founders Institute, they have in Lagos, in Abuja, then look for Nourishing Africa. You can see we have a lot of opportunities, a lot of opportunities, and here is information coming to you live and direct. Please make the best out of this information. Please, because when you get something cheap, you may not make the best out of it, you may not appreciate it, but please, I'm begging you, make the best out of this opportunity. The next question I want to ask about cooperative. Well, from experience, I know that the best funding is you can actually get for anything is through cooperatives. At least if you are not a member of one cooperative, you can learn from your mother, your parents. And a good example I cite is when you see teachers, you'll be surprised what so many teachers have achieved. I'm sorry, I'm using that example. But sincerely, if you look at their salaries and what they have achieved in life, because they belong to cooperatives, you understand? So I want us to rub minds on what are the opportunities that can be in establishing cooperative organizations among agripreneurs, so that to be a convenient way to raise funds for agribusiness. I've read a lot about cooperatives. I've been trained in cooperatives, and I know that there's big countries of this world where they're thriving in agriculture, and you know they've been able to raise a lot of support for their people through cooperatives. So what are the opportunities? Even God himself, well, I read the Bible. In the Bible, one thing that God was scared of was the unity of man. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? When they were building the Tower of Babel, and God said, these guys, they have strong unity. Oh. If you just continue to hold hands, you understand. So what opportunities can be in raising funds through cooperative organizations? Thank you. Do you have anything to share on that?
Okay, so I think I've raised funds for cooperatives for some years now, and in as much as it is a brilliant solution, it is critical to understand how to go about it.
Yeah, critical to understand how to go about it. I like
because before you approach any funder as a cooperative, one, you must have historicals together. That means you did not just start the cooperative for the purpose of raising funds. You must have been cooperating together, either selling together like a cluster or buying inputs together. There must be some level of collaboration and operations that have occurred within that cooperative from when it was incorporated. And the cooperative must be a legal entity, not the fact that we came together, that means we are now a cooperative. No, it must be registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission as a cooperative. Secondly, and so you will have some level of financials, even if it is not, it's just a statement of affairs to show that you have done some things together. It is very critical. You must be willing to cross-guarantee each other. I trust you enough to guarantee you. You trust me enough to guarantee me. Because that is on the strength of that guarantee, cross-guarantee, that the financial institution will advance funds to you. So if you do not trust your president or your secretary does not trust, I'll give you an example. I was trying to raise funds for a cooperative, a pig cooperative. And we had done all the paperwork and we've gotten to the point of cross-guaranteeing. They've been existing for more than 7 years as at that time. And the president came to meet me that, I cannot guarantee this secretary. You know, the secretary came that, if the PRO is part of the team, I cannot put my name to it because the PRO chopped money in so and so place. Another one, so in the end, we could not conclude on that transaction because there was trust issues. You know, so in as much as cooperative fundraising is very interesting and it's easy, it has its peculiarity. It must be people that you trust with your money so that they don't run with it in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's excellent. Thank you. Any other person? Well, thank you. The reason why I brought up that question is because from experience, I've worked with different groups of farmers, and I've seen there was these groups that we brought together, trained them on cooperatives, and they were able to win grants. I was involved in building stores for 2 of them. So, but at the same time, the points here are, well, it's critical to understand. It must be a legal entity. Then must be sure of the personalities that will be involved. It's a possibility, but cares must be taken so that one will not have his or her fingers burnt. I want to give time to everybody on the stage to talk about your organization and how can agripreneurs benefit from your organizations. I'll start with, let me start with Idayat.
Okay, I work with Apex Commodity Exchange, and we provide farmers with inputs in form of loan. We provide financing to small businesses, processors, millers, in form of working capital to access loan. Then also we have an investment platform called COMEX, where as an individual you can invest in agricultural products to derive capital appreciations. You can start with a little as 20,000 naira. Then you wait a while for a period of 2-3 months to get your capital appreciation on the investment. That's basically what we do at AFEX.
Thank you. What is AFEX? What is the meaning of AFEX?
AFEX is a word. It's not like
is it an acronym?
It's not an acronym.
Oh,
it's just AFEX Commodity Exchange.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's not like it's an acronym.
Thank you so much. You will expect that definitely we have to discuss further on this so that we will see how our people can actually benefit from your organization.
Definitely.
We have to form a strong partnership. Thank you. Yeah, Samson, let's hear from Samson.
Thank you. Soilless Farm Lab, trademark name of Upepsia Place Limited. We are an agri-tech company. We use technology to enable agriculture in the area first of farming. So we are into soilless farming, vertical farming, urban farming. We are into machine learning and AI for agriculture. And we are about to start our agro-logistics, opening up with the first air cargo plane just for movement of produce from between 5 states first, just to start off with that. And we also offtake produce from farmers who meet our standard. So for those that we train, we ensure that you meet the standard, we collect your produce and sell on our platform. How the agripreneurs can benefit from what we do, whatever you produce, if you can meet the standard, then we have a market for it. Thank you.
Please, I expect you to jam your hands together. Seriously. If you know what it means to have a secured market before you produce, if you know what it means to have a ready market before you produce, you want to jam those hands together once again. Yeah, so that's a very great one. If they are able to meet up with the standard, what will I be doing that I will not be able to meet up with the standard? Don't worry, we'll work more together on that. So thank you so much for that great opportunity, and we'll be looking up to the area of logistics, and we will definitely continue to work together. Thank you so much. Okay, IBK?
Okay, so Oyo Young Agripreneur is a community of youth in agriculture, and we have a mandate to address challenges facing youth in agriculture, which includes access to technical skills. We link youth in agriculture, in agribusiness rather, to different technical skill trainings, right from crop, animal production, those different value chain will ensure that we link agripreneur through training so that they'll be empowered and ready to build on their market. Aside from that, so we also work in clusters. We have different clusters in which our youth come together to produce both crop and animals. So we have different clusters, and we encourage this because we realize that youths can easily get discouraged, but when you come together in group, you're able to encourage each other. Someone's strength might be someone's weakness, so you're able to maximize on that, and you're able to build an agribusiness for yourself. So some of our members have been able to benefit from this, and we have several members that started with nothing, with actually in-depth, and now they've moved from the clusters and they're standing on their own. They've been able to develop their business to profitability. Aside from that, we also link them to markets. So we also understand that market is key, just like he said. So we do this. We also encourage, we look at different research institutes. We're in collaboration with different research institutes in about 95% of the research institutes in Nigeria. We understand that it is important that we have access to, to improved farming techniques, because you can plant cassava and then your neighbor plant cassava in the improved way, and then your neighbor is able to, have more profit than you. So we understand that piece. So we are able to access research information from all these research institutes, and then we bring it to the farm to ensure that, we have more profitable agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's very great. Exposing them to new technologies, market linkage, working in clusters. That sounds very, very great, because it would be a good avenue to learn together, to learn faster. I remember there was a particular occasion where a particular poultry farmer found solution to a problem after spending so much money. It was just in the PAN, Poultry Association of Nigeria meeting. I shared his problem. He had bought drugs, invited so many veterinary doctors, and someone just shared one little idea that did not even cost him up to 1,000 naira. And he was able to save the birds from dying. So that's a great one, working in clusters. Then, Garba?
All right, so I work for an organization called the Nigeria Climate Innovation Center, for short NCIC. We were set up by the World Bank in 2018 and supported by the Office of the Vice President, Yemi Osibajo, GCON, to primarily drive the growth of the Nigerian green economy. We do this by working very closely with climate smart entrepreneurs, playing in our core thematic areas, which are renewable energy, waste management, agriculture, and water. We also have footprints around other circular businesses as well. So primarily, we provide linkages, networks, access to funding and markets for our entrepreneurs. Currently, we have given out about 500,000 USD as grants. Though in renewable energy, we haven't done any grant-related program on agriculture, but that's our focus for the fourth quarter of the year. We're currently working on a 10 billion naira fund, for investment-ready climate-smart businesses, which cuts across all the core thematic areas I've spoken about, be it agriculture, be it waste management, renewable energy. The interesting part of this is I see agriculture as being interlinked with all of this. So if you talk about, climate-smart agriculture or green agriculture, if you look at statistically, about 12 billion naira, I think, is lost in Nigeria yearly on post-harvest loss. 12 billion naira, yeah. Post-harvest loss.
12 billion naira.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. So if that loss means we have rotten food just going down the drains, which can be converted into energy. So you can see the linkage between, agriculture to clean energy to waste management. So honestly, I see all of them as all in one. You can't talk about renewable energy without talking about agriculture. You can't talk about waste management without talking about agriculture. Though it depends on the sector of waste you're talking about, but since our discussion is on agriculture here, the potential is there. The potential is huge in Nigeria. So we're all investing in these areas, and we're very happy to work with entrepreneurs who have viable options, for a cleaner planet. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's appreciate him. I'm sure some guys are in here. I'm sure Greg will like to meet with you after this program. They are into turning waste into energy, and we will be able to work together in so many ways. Then a lot of opportunities. You talked about 12 billion worth of loss. That's huge. Okay, the last.
That will double by 2050 if nothing is done about it.
So 20.
By 2050, that might double or triple.
Oh, definitely.
36 billion.
It's expected. Before I take the last word of advice from everybody, Madam Madedo, please talk about what you do and how we can benefit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I work with BUA Investment and Trust as a business developer. What I do is to help agropreneurs to be investment ready, to be bankable, to help them raise funds, to show them and take them to the right funders, and for them to know when to raise debt, equity, and grant funding. I work as a technical advisor, technical team member for a lot of grant providing agencies, organizations. So I understand to a large extent what they expect from you as an agripreneur to put together so that you're grant ready. Over the years, I always say that agripreneurs should focus on single digit funds, so that, because agri margins are really thin, they are more of volume margins. So it's important that when you want to raise funds, you raise funds from organizations or financial institutions that give you single digit loan. When I say single digit, it's single digit for a year, not for a month. So those are some critical things we do in BUA Investment and Trust. And we will be ready and willing to provide business clinics, funding clinics for agripreneurs that are here, so that we can raise funds for them, and funds that will not require them to provide land and building as collateral for them to start up, because we also know that those are some limiting factors that prevent agripreneurs with good business structures and good products to access funding. So if you are accessing any funds below 20 million naira, we have solutions that will help you to raise that capital. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please jam your hands together. And finally, I will just take the last word of advice from each panelist, just in 30 seconds. Here before us, we have youths that have been selected. I know 1,000 other youths are listening online. They have great hopes for a very bright future in agribusiness industry. Some of them will be picking up jobs, paid jobs. Some of them will be establishing their agribusiness enterprises. We've been able to explore a lot of chances, opportunities that are before all of them. And we expect that, of course, at the end of the day, nobody would have excuse for not achieving the greatness they desired. So please, in 30 seconds, I'll start from Samson, then come down here. 30 seconds, your word of advice for the people here. Thank you. Please jam your hands together for them.
Okay, thank you. So for those that want to go become agripreneurs, you want to be alone, what I would say is, true maturity is understanding how to manage freedom. And in maturity, to manage freedom as an agripreneur is get a mentor. What puts you in trouble most of the time is not those things you don't know, but the things that you know, but they are not true. So get a mentor that would not the ones that you even reach out to, but those that will actually reach out to you because they care about your success. They are the ones that will introduce you to opportunities that you not even know existed. They are the ones that will open doors that you not even know that were there. And most importantly, they are the ones that you can fall back on when things go wrong. So get a mentor, remain loyal. Even when your platform becomes bigger than that of your mentor, they are still your mentors. At the top, the currency for exchange is not money, it is loyalty. Get a mentor, stay loyal. Thank you.
Get a mentor, stay loyal. Down those hands together. I expect it to be more than that. Get a mentor, stay loyal. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so for me, I would say join the right community, be consistent, prepare yourself for opportunities. There are lots of opportunities out there. Even the government-owned opportunities like ABCP is for farmers. You can access it. Anybody can access it. Then identify yourself with certain goals. you can identify, as a business, try to identify yourself with international driven goals, like solving problems along gender inequality. That way you can position yourself for financing products, like blended finance products that international organizational donors give.
Thank you so much. These are words of marvels. Please jam those hands together once again. Yeah, join the right community and identify goals, especially along the international community. Thank you.
Okay, so I will say that look at where you want to be in 2 years from now, in 5 years from now. Look at that, picture that. If you have to, get that picture and post it on your wall, that is called vision board. Look at it every morning and then walk your way back. Ask yourself, what are the things I need to get here? What are the skills? What are the things I need to learn to be able to get here? And then every day, make sure that you develop some certain hours or certain time to develop yourself to get there. The more you look at it, the more you see it achievable. And once you believe you can do it, then you'll be able to achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, so much. Looking at where you want to be, that setting goals, then setting objectives, then write them down. Then the more you look at it, the more you see it becoming achievable. That's great. Thank you so much.
I think first of all, I would like to congratulate you for getting this far. Out of about 12,000 applications, you're I think 1% or less than 1% that have been chosen. So definitely there's something special about you, each and every one of you.
I think you should appreciate yourselves. That's good.
So I think most importantly, you should, as much as possible, begin networking amongst yourselves, like right now. You don't have to be on your own. Learn from each other. Your knowledge base is definitely varies from one another. There's only so much IITA can do. You should also learn on your own. Learn as much as you can around your space. Start identifying your strengths within the agri value chain now. It's never too late. So there's a Chinese proverb which says a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and you've taken that step. And I believe very strongly that all of you will succeed. Those in favor say aye. The ayes have it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd say that as an agripreneur, don't over-exaggerate the facts. If you have one pen, 500 birds, stick to what you have. Don't say you have more than what you actually have. That is misrepresenting yourself and leading yourself to failure. Be proud of whatever you have, no matter how small it is. Secondly, focus on the work, not on the shine. It is not about how you position yourself on social media. It is actually what you do with your hands. Don't be a grantpreneur, be an agropreneur. Don't raise all about the town looking for grants instead of doing the work that will make grants to run after you. Positioning is key to success in agriculture. In any aspect of agriculture, if you do not position yourself properly, using the right facts, not over-exaggerating, you'll find yourself becoming a failure because your expectations are way beyond your time. And then you will be frustrated in whatever you do. But I know that because of the training that IIT is giving everyone here, that they will not find themselves in such situations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. These are words of marbles. Please, I want to use this time to appreciate all the panelists. Thank you that we invited you, and out of a busy schedules, you created time to be here with us. We have gained a lot of information from you. We have learned so much from you today. I know some of you had to travel down before, so that they can make it here today. On behalf of high TA youths in Agri-Business Office and on behalf of high TA at large, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And yes, jam those hands together for them. Jam those hands together. Thank you. And my people, I put it to you today that sincerely, well, first let me congratulate you that you are part of this team selected. And I put it to you that you have all it takes to succeed in life. It's not just about training. We have the numbers. We have the numbers. So we are not just interested in increasing the number trained. No. We are interested in the number of businesses established, jobs you are able to secure, and how well we can contribute to solving problems of hunger, problems of unemployment, and problems of poverty. So you have all it takes. Please take advantage. And in the next couple of years, we want to celebrate you. We want to write your stories and say you have passed through this system and of course, you have started achieving. The sky can only be your starting point. You have your future in your hands. God has blessed you enough to have positioned you to be in this team at this time. See, it is not about what comes to you. It's about what you can bring out of it. And it's a matter of choice. So you have the choice. I advise you that you bring the best out of it. Thank you, and thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point in time, I would love to introduce the next host, the person of Mrs. Tojola, to come and take the podium for the question and answer.
Thank you very much, Wahid. So we're going to be giving questions to our panelists, and some of these questions will also go to some of the guests invited here. My name is Aderoju Tojola. So I've received some questions from some people here, some participants here, and I'm going to be mentioning these questions. So the first question goes to us. When the youths are supported in the area of training and establishment, even funding by some organizations, in what way can these organizations be of help in terms of marketing to young entrepreneurs? So I think I am going to give this question to Mr. Garba. Please, can you answer this question for us?
I think in terms of marketing, I would say that that is what we primarily do for all of our entrepreneurs, because we work with them very closely. And when I say we work with them very closely, we start with you from that ideation stage until you get to that market entry stage. And you can't get into that market entry stage without us doing some form of marketing and not sales, but marketing. Sales, we believe, comes by default when the marketing strategy is right. So we do that for our entrepreneurs, and when subsequent entrepreneurs come on board, we tend to continue to do that as our culture. So we work with you, we work on your branding, we work on your market positioning. We provide all these services because they are part of what we do in driving the Nigerian green economy, so long what you do is green and climate friendly. Thank you.
I think we should give a round of applause to Mr. Garber. I hope your question was well attended to. So the next question goes to us. What should be our business drive, passion, or money? And in brackets, the person puts some profits. So I am going to be giving this question to Mr. Sampson to attend to.
I think I'll give that question to my mama here, who is in charge of business development.
Okay, so it's a chicken and egg question, really. There's no right or wrong to answer to this question. Passion is fantastic, but if you don't have money, you cannot have passion. I don't know if you understand me. If you don't have money, passion is expensive. The people that are playing golf, for example, I'm using golf as an example, it's passion, but they need money to fuel that passion. So the first thing you need to do for me as an individual, I would say you look at the money. Find a way to understand how to make money. Having money and making money are two different things. So first, understand how to make the money so that it remains sustainable. And you will find passion in it. I used to be passionate about computer science. My first degree was in computer science before I did agricultural economics. And I never liked agriculture when I was in the university. But when the money found me in agriculture, or I found the money in agriculture, I became passionate about it.
Thank you very much. So she said the money found her. Okay, so another question goes to us. As a business starter, is it proper to start with multiple businesses? Example, catering, decoration alongside, agri processing, or sales of any agri-products, including online businesses. This person wants to do so many businesses at once. So I think it's still business development that would answer this question.
Okay, there's a difference between being a business person and a hustler. So if you're a hustler, you have to do everything, right? But if you want to do business, you have to be focused. And in becoming an entrepreneur, you must define where you want to play in. If you go to meet any funder and you say, only you alone, you are a garip manufacturer, you have poultry, you have a piggery business, what else again? Catering business, online business,
dairy processing.
Please, gone, which one do you have? Because in the end, you have nothing. Because your attention is divided. You cannot grow all of them together. However, when you have mastered the act of growing one, I will use animal care as an example. They started as a veterinary service company, advising and helping other poultry businesses to manage their disease outbreaks and the like of it. Then they gradually integrated into the production of eggs, right? When they started with 2,000 birds, they realized that the cost of milling is expensive. And if they don't, of buying finished feeds is expensive. So they decided to start milling and compounding by themselves. And these processes took years. The veterinary service took them 10 years before they went into egg. In egg, they did 6 years before they started feed milling. After they went into feed milling, they realized that the major money that they make is in selling point of cage. So they moved into point of cage because they have the capital and the liquidity to divest into these businesses. Then some people look at Songhai Farm in Benin Republic and say, oh, it is such a beautiful enterprise. They have this, have this, have this. They don't make their money from all those things they have. They make their money from tourism. So understand your business, the essence of your business, before you go into it. If you want to hustle, please continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for her. So this question is on technology. So I will be giving this question to Mr. Sampson. How can we fully maximize the use of technology in agribusiness when most villages there is farming activities take place are not technologically developed. For example, most youths in the village do not have access to network and cannot connect to internet nor electricity and so on. What can such youth do?
It's simple. Find a technology that works there. Find a way to get it there. I'll give an example. When we say technology, it doesn't have to be something big. Distill it. I'll use soilless farming, for example. When we started, we had to use things like vermiculite, perlite, and all of that. These are things we have to bring in from Nairobi, Kenya. But when we move to places like Ebonyi State, where they have a whole lot of rice mill that they would throw away, that's a rice hull, the shaft that they would throw away, we realized we could use this as a supplement to ensure we get soilless farming. So they could get the same soilless farming technology, but making use of what is there. That is a system called ABCD, Asset-Based Community Development. Look at the community, look at the assets that are available. You don't need to have a tractor to use technology. You can look for something that makes the work easier. Technology is just something that makes the job easier. So try to distill the idea. Technologies doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be large. It can be something small. It doesn't have to be even connected to the internet to make it work. Look at the environment, find a way to distill, and you will still get the job done. Once it is faster than it was, that is technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this question goes to STEP. I don't know if there's a STEP coordinator here. Mr. Dayo, are you here? Dayo is here. Okay, the question goes to us. I really want to volunteer, but I do not know how. I have been trying to volunteer for STEP program for a while. Please, can I know the process on how to volunteer? Can we have someone answer this question briefly? If you're going to answer, you can come here. Please introduce yourself before you answer the question. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Agashani Shimen Bwigule, and I'm here to respond to the question that was directed to STEP. So if you want to volunteer for STEP, in normal time, we do a normal recruitment. If we need volunteers, we normally ask for it. We send an offer through the link or anyhow, so people will volunteer. And if you come, we still do the normal recruitment process, whereby you need to take a test. Afterwards, we select the people that we need, and we continue from there. So the person that asked the question, in case it happens that we need volunteers, please check online. If you have friends in STEP, keep asking. When it will come out, I'm sure you'll be informed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shimen. So if you have questions, please, there are people with sheet of papers at the back. They would give it to you because we have a time limit for this questions and answer session. Thank you very much. For an instance, I'm into a business and it collapses or liquidates. Please, how will someone start the business back without any helping hand? That's the first question. Yes. So I would like that first question to be attended to. Will Ms. Idayat, Ms. Idayat, would you like to answer the question? Do I need to go again?
No. It's
Okay.
fine. So for the business to have collapsed in the first place, it means that you have done some things wrong. Then you need help. So the last thing you said, without help, just cancel that out. You need help. Identify that you need help. Seek the right help. Get the right mentors to help you along the line. Everything is not financing. Everything is not finance. So you might think the answer to your problem might be finance, but you need to analyze every step of the way what you have done wrong. That's the first step of getting a solution. So when you identify, look at how you tackle it, seek the right mentorship, then you need to put God in everything. You need to put God in everything. I think that's what I have to say.
There's another question for you, so you could just hold on to the mic. So the second question goes to us. She's trying to give an assumption.
Okay.
So imagine I'm married and I'm into a business and my husband is currently unemployed and I have to take care of all the responsibilities in the house. Sometimes I have to dip my hand into my business money, profit, and in doing so, the business might run down. What can I do? I know it's a big question, but this person needs help, and you're financially credited to answer this question. If someone else wants to answer, that would also be great, but please answer. Thank you. She was just giving an assumption, so she might really not be going through that.
Okay. Please can Madam please help with that? Okay, because it's kind of who wants to answer?
Okay, so I'll say that when starting a business first, you must differentiate the business from yourself. And that's why I always say, start a business through collaboration. Don't start a business alone. When you start alone, you're tempted to find a way to dip your hands into the business. The business will not be an individual on its own. And businesses are supposed to stand on their own. And it's when you're able to, that business is able to stand on its own, you can then differentiate between your actual cash flow and your profitability. Because the fact that you have money in bank does not mean it is your profit. It's the cash flow that you need to plow back. And if you are explaining to a spouse that this money he's seen, the alert will just come. But this money that he's seen is not your profit. It's not your money. Yes, you've sold, but it is not your money. It is the business money. It makes you look like as if you are the village people that they sent, to worry him in the family. He is not able to understand the fact that there's liquidity and you are not plowing it into helping the family to come out of debt. But if you are running the business in collaboration with somebody, he understands that you cannot, indiscriminately dip your hand into the business fund because you are answerable to somebody else. That's one. Secondly, please, as a woman, when you are doing business, always explain the nitty-gritty. If possible, let the man be involved in the bookwork, cost of production, sales, gross profits, operating costs, net profits. It gives clarity and transparency in the home. So it does not look like as if you have so much money and you are tying it in your wrapper and not allowing the family to grow. I hope that answers your question, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, someone else has another answer, another approach, perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the question is, a married woman is into business. The husband is unemployed, if I get it right.
Yes.
And you've actually been dipping your hands to somehow feed the husband. I think that's one of the very important background we need to understand in marriage and business is this. If you are married as a woman, your man must 100% understand what the business was all about. And mind you, the fact that he's unemployed now does not mean that's going to be the end of the world. You are permitted to, in business, be a helping hand to the man to a level of life. If you consistently becoming a liability, you have every right to stop that help and let him face life as a man. Because if you don't do that, the business will collapse, two of you will be in trouble in a very short while. So the point is, separate business to an extent from the family. You can't separate the family, mind you. The business must run because that's the means of your livelihood at the time, the point in time. So let the man understand this is how this business runs. If you can bring him in, fine. If it's such a person who is not a business person, not everybody will be an entrepreneur. Don't let us deceive ourselves. Some will always be an administrator. So he can actually fit in. But if he's not fitting into the business you are doing, the first month, second month, third month, becoming a year, you have been a help to this man. And he's not getting a job. Lady, you need a help. Get someone to talk to the guy to stand up and be a man. If not, their business will die. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give him a round of applause. So Chief Aquaculture is going to give some pointers to some of the questions that have been asked previously, and starting now. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to comment on some of the issues that have been discussed before, especially when we're talking about innovative financing options. I think one area that has been left untouched in this climate is the capital market. There's so much funds available in the capital market to be assessed, but unfortunately, there are structures and systems you need to follow. Individually, it might be difficult for you to assess that, so you might have to form yourself into clusters and groups. We have, you might have to deal with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and a lot of other regulatory authorities. But again, the funds are there. The pension funds in Nigeria today, we have about 8 trillion naira idle in the pension funds, but nobody is assessing that. Even the banks are having some constraints. So when you're going to the banks for funding, you are going to, at times, of constrained institutions. But a lot of funds are there that we could, form what we call collective investment schemes. It could be a unit trust, it could be an agri trust, and the question was that how do you get to them? How do you identify them? The equity funders, the private equity funds, we have what we call financial advisors, investment advisors, stockbrokers. They're all over the place. So when you form yourself into groups, you can access this kind of funding. And like I said, when you belong to associations, then it makes it easier for you. You've been advised to start small, but again, there are also disadvantages to that, because when the wind blows, it's going to blow you away easily. But when you have, a deep root, then you can be able to withstand the storm, because no matter what, you're going to face challenges in the business world. Now, the issue of how do you link the youth to the market, to the organizations? I think I mentioned here before that Chambers of Commerce is, we call it Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. Virtually all the big companies belong to the Chambers of Commerce. And you can imagine, they come to the meeting and say, Mr. Chairman, we don't have enough raw materials for our products, for our production. And the farmers are saying, we don't have enough market for our output. So there's a missing link. And some of you here in the value chain could also be aggregators. So you can pick up things, aggregate them, and then you can meet the quality standards of these organizations. And very importantly is the fact that the access to market is what we do. I'll give an example. In the Chamber of Commerce, I had a youth who is into fish production. And he said, Mr. Chairman, I have a problem. I cannot sell my fish. Oh, you cannot sell your fish? Okay, let's go. I brought him to Ibadan here. We went to ShopRite. And ShopRite said, we can give you an order to supply all our shops in Nigeria. And you know what happened? The guy just disappeared. He said, how can I meet this demand? It's too big for me. And I said, you could have just formed yourself into groups, do a value chain analysis, and then you be the supplier. Somebody is running the fish, somebody is processing, you are collecting and delivering. But again, one important thing is the quality standards. Quality standard and certification. For example, we're doing some projects in Agribusiness. We have a cooperative called Agribusiness, which was launched in this place in 2018. And the issue was that there was an order for 400,000 tons of maize in Ibadan here. And nobody could supply 1 ton. And everybody says we are planting maize. You know the problem? Because of aflatoxin. So we have to come back to IITA here, and then we are given AflaSafe. So the quality and the standard of the market must be understood. And before you start, please, that's what we need to call off-taker. There must be off-taker agreement. Or else you just start and then you need to look for market. They will price you below your cost of production. That is, so you must start with the market, and then you can begin to produce to meet the requirements of the market. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. Please give him a round of applause. So we have 2 questions left, and I'm going to give this particular question to Mr. Bukon. How can someone identify his or her strength in agribusiness, in agri-hub business? This is the question for Ms. Ibokon. Please kindly attend to this question.
Okay, thank you. How can you identify your strength? The first thing is you need to be truthful to yourself. You need to sit down. You need some level of quietness within you. Take a paper, take a pen, write down. Strength can be probably from your background, maybe what you studied in school. It could be maybe what you've passed through. Probably while growing up, your parents were crop farmers, so you grew up also planting some certain crops. So it could be probably those close to you. Maybe you are quite close to some particular type of farmers. You know, you are quite close to you or probably something that you've been doing as hobby. So you have to see. It takes a level of quietness within you. Have a pen and paper. Write down some of your experiences. Write down what you love to do. Write down they wake you up today, you could find it very easy to do. Once you've written it down, now ask yourself, how can this be profitable? How can you link it to, agribusiness? How can you make it profitable in agribusiness? So it takes level of you sitting down. It takes level of you being quiet within your soul, and then gradually you'll be able to discover it. You'll be able to discover your strength. So you could also listen to seminars. You could also attend workshops on how to discover yourself more. And then the more you listen to that, you could watch it on YouTube. And then you could look at even some things that you're doing, and then look at people that are doing it, and then look at what things you can do differently from them. That can be your own strength. So it takes you sitting down and relearning about yourself. And then with that, you'll be able to discover your strength.
Thank you very much. So lastly, one of the participants, or should I say more than one participant, is asking that can you, SARS and MARS, kindly dish out the websites of your respective organizations so that they can be able to access more information. And they also said, thank you for the knowledge imparted. So I'll start from you, Mr. Bokon. Please, your website.
Okay, ioyap.com, www.ioyap, then oyap.com.
Do we need that to be repeated? Yes. Please.
That's oyap, oyap.com.
oyap.com, oyap.com. Okay, please, Mr. Gaba.
So for NCIC, it's nigeriacic.org. nigeriacic.org. org.
Did we get that?
Thank you.
Mr. Sampson?
sfarmlab.com, letter S, farm, F-A-R-O-M, lab, L-A-B.com, one word.
Okay.
Thank you.
sfarmlab.com. Did we get that? Okay.
www.boitc.com. B for boy, O for orange, I for ink, C for technology, C for company.com. boitc.com.
Okay, we have Mr. Diet to give us the website.
Thank you. www.afexnigeria.com. AFEX is AFEX. Then to our trading platform, that's comex.afexnigeria.com. COMX, X for xylophone. COMX.afexnigeria.com.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other person with websites to give? None for now. So Wahid will take the floor. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are moving closer to the end of the program, but before we move to the next agenda, which is just the vote of thanks, and we can have our guests taking their exit. At this point in time, I think instead of asking for the website, it could have been wise enough for us to request that we need a more session with them, because they spend just quite a few time with us today, and we need more appropriate time to meet with them one-on-one again to actually diffuse all this information that we have. So I'm going to request on behalf of all the project beneficiaries that we are going to be calling on you again to have in one of our modules and sessions delivered, so that they can have the opportunity to now ask more specific information, because I believe going to the website, you just have access to those information, but what to do with those information, you need all these back-end support. So do you actually give us your approval that you will be coming back? The program just started, it's 3 months, and this is just the orientation phase, and we will move into the serious business as we progress. So I take your silence as yes. Please kindly appreciate them. Yes, then another key lesson is that from the panelist discussion, I've been able to also bring out some key strategic events that we also need to incorporate into this program. One of which is business funding clinic, which I believe more of issue of funding, be it debt, be it equity, venture capitalists, and other angel investments could be addressed. I also saw a need, based on those discussions, that we also need to organize what we call it green job fairs, where more of the players can come on board to advise us more. We cannot also eliminate agri-pitch events. Pitching is really key, and I believe you are here, you would love to also help us to achieve that. Then somebody also mentioned something about plugin. So I believe we try our best to have agro plugin along the value chain, so that those are asking questions, how do you identify your strengths along the value chain, can be addressed. I wouldn't love to end this session without giving just 2 minutes to the MD Agri-Capital to tell us what they do, because the beneficiaries need this information starting from now. Please step forward.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. And I stand on all existing protocols. My name is Bishi Olufunmilayo. I work with Agri-Capital Ventures Limited. We are aggregators in the agricultural value chain. We have 13 strategic partners we are working with. We facilitate inputs for the farmers. Currently, we are working on a project. We have to raise 20,000 youths to empower them in agriculture. So we provide the land, we provide the machineries, we provide all the technical support they need. So we major mostly in spices. We do turmeric, we do thyme, and we have off-takers already in the market that picks up whatsoever our farmers or what we'll be planting. We are also trying to see how we can reduce the issue of unemployment and alleviate poverty and solve the pending crisis of famine that is very, very imminent. So that's why we are working, we are partnering also with IITA to see how we can raise the youth, but definitely there are several benefits attached to it. We've been running this business for over 3 years. We just want to do this one and see how it comes in. We provide accommodation for the youths involved. We provide feeding for them, and they organize a payout. If you have looked at what all the speakers have been talking about since morning, I love the slogan, share the profits, don't be involved in the risk. So that's what this project is all about. You are involved in the sharing of the profit, but Agri-Capital bears the risk. So that's what we do at Agri-Capital. Thank you very much, sir.
So subsequently, we are going to share the link to their platform where, if you are interested, and more information will be shared. Before the next speaker, I would like you to all know that after today, we are going to start the training with 2 weeks of online training, and that will start on Thursday. Before you leave today, or probably by tomorrow, we are going to actually subscribe a data so that you can have access to those through Zoom. We join the Zoom, then we have the virtual modules delivered, then after which we invited you fully to our for the technical and some other experiential learning delivered by some of our resource persons here present. So at this point in time, I would love to invite Fatima, Mrs. Fatima, to come and give the vote of thanks. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Permit me to stand on existing protocols. On behalf of my team, I want to appreciate you all for participating in this ceremony. It has really shown your passion and commitment you all have for the development of Nigerian youth. We appreciate IFAD for granting us the opportunity to assist the Nigerian youth and rural communities, and turning rural communities into agricultural economic hubs. I want to appreciate everyone, the panel members, our partners, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. And I also want to congratulate our beneficiaries. Congratulations once again, and we look forward to working with you on this wonderful journey. Thank you all. Safe journey to your destination.
Come to the end of the program, so we will create your indulgence, the participant to wait. Others can take their leave, have their lunch. The participants, we need to take your baseline, and it won't take so much of your time. Just stay behind, we will pass more information across to you. Thank you very much.